Chapter 356. The silver palm extended downwards, causing Zilulon to despair. The ripples released by this palm caused Zilulon's body and mind to be torn apart. Xuansu was a great Dao realm expert, so Su Yan naturally wouldn't have it easy. Old thing. Su Yan was enraged. He wanted to kill Zilulon. At most, he wouldn't hand over the mysterious bone book to Zixioning. It wasn't that he didn't have a trump card, but Su Yan really wanted to borrow Zixioning's strength to understand the current situation of the burial region lineage. Just as Su Yan was about to unseal the true dragon arm, he felt thousands of vast space-time auras sweeping over, covering Su Yan. As for the silver palm that was descending from above, it was directly blocked. Su Yan's eyes narrowed. Could there be reinforcements? Clap, clap, clap. A crisp voice rang out. A beautiful woman in a cheongsam walked in with a charming smile and a curvy figure. She swayed her sexy and perky buttocks as she walked in. She clapped her hands and smiled. What a great show! I haven't seen enough yet. Miss Xioning, Yan Bingzhen's scalp went numb. Her face was filled with fear and despair. She didn't have a trace of hope. Zixioning was here. Yan Bingzhen, you didn't disappoint me. Zixioning's limpid eyes scanned her. Her red lips were sexy, her smile was charming, and her appearance was gorgeous. She chuckled. If it wasn't for you, I would have found evidence. I really have to thank you. I didn't. Yan Bingzhen's scalp went numb. Her words caused Zilulon to be furious. Was Yan Bingzhen tricking her? Little brat, well done. Zixioning patted Su Yan's shoulder, causing the latter to feel helpless. This woman must have been here long ago, and had been watching the show from the side. Haha, last Xioning, when did you come? Xuansu forced a stiff smile and looked at the black-robed man blocking his way. He smiled kindly and said, Why didn't you inform me? If I knew you were here, I wouldn't have wasted so much effort. Everything is for the family treasure. Xioning, you won't blame me for not informing you beforehand, right? Old thing. Su Yan replied. Watch your mouth. Although she was caught red-handed, Xuansu still acted as if it was no big deal. She reprimanded, How dare you disrespect me? Xioning, tell me, how should we deal with this brat? If we let him go just like that, what will happen to the dignity of the Z clan? What should we do? You'd better think more about yourself. Another person came in from outside the door. He was dressed in a gray robe, and his hair was gray. He walked with a majestic gait, and his aura was extremely powerful. It was obvious that he had been in a high position for a long time. Sixth Elder. Xuansu's expression turned ugly. She smiled apologetically. Sixth Elder, why are you here? Why didn't you inform me in advance? I'm here to inform Xioning. What has it got to do with you? Yangqing said unkindly, How dare you? If anything happens to the family treasure, you won't be able to pay for it even if you die 10 times. Sixth Elder, what do you mean? Xuansu said angrily, What crime have I committed? I'm only doing this for the clan, to get the family treasure back. Although I did use some tricks, this brat has nothing to do with the Cosmos Business Alliance. Sixth Elder. Zixioning asked calmly, What crime is it for a clan member to kill each other and even target a descendant of the clan? You're slandering me. Xuansu was stunned. Her expression changed drastically and she shouted, Slandering me? Zixioning, when did I attack my own clan member? Zilulon, tell me. Zilulon's eyes were filled with hatred and resentment. She had lost so badly that she couldn't win against Zixioning. When Yan Bingzhen returned to the family in the past, Zixioning had already gotten wind of it. However, she was grounded in the family and could not see Yan Bingzhen immediately. Hence, she naturally knew that Zilulon had taken Yan Bingzhen away. Zixioning knew very well. Before she left, she had instructed Yan Bingzhen to immediately activate the teleportation array to inform her if Su Yan came. Other than this, nothing else was worth activating the teleportation array. At that time, Zi Xuning didn't hesitate. Su Yan had definitely made it out alive. She had to go back. Zi Xuning had spent a lot of time persuading the patriarch to allow her to go back. However, it had already been a few days. On the way back, she thought that Su Yan had died. Who knew that when Zi Xuning arrived, Su Yan was still not here? Zi Lulan screamed in pain. Zi Xuning had pinched her. At this moment, Zi Xuning was both charming and cold. Her aura was both enchanting and cold. She looked at Zi Lulan with her limpid eyes and smiled. I hate it when people take on my appearance and pretend that they don't look like me. You really know how to humiliate me. Bam! The purple lush orchid collapsed here, shattering into a pile of meat paste. Xuning, what are you doing? Sixth Elder was like a silver lion in anger. Zi Lulan was a disciple of the Zi family after all. Even if she had made a mistake, Zi Xuning had no right to kill her. Hearing this, Zi Xuning had a disapproving look. I'll give an explanation to the ancestor later. Sixth Elder, you don't have to worry. You'd better think about how to deal with this old thing. This matter concerns the relic, and this old thing almost delayed the important matter. What should he do? Zi Xuning, you're rebelling. How dare you slander me? Do you still have any respect for the family rules? Zi Xuning was so angry that she wanted to vomit blood. She had nothing to fear. After all, bringing back the relic was too important to the Zi family. With such a huge contribution, Zi Xuning would have unparalleled power in the future and become an existence that could call the wind and rain in the business world. Kaboom! The aura of the black-robed man approached Zi Xuansu. The entire space was as black as ink, as if a huge black hole had been born here, exuding spatial fluctuations. This old thing is Zi Xuning's guardian? He's really strong. Su Yan thought to himself. The black-robed man's control of space was superb. Even the big killing formation was forcefully suppressed by him. Bastard! Zi Xuansu was not weak either. Her body was full of great Dao Qi. The great Dao heavenly power that surged out from her body intertwined and turned into a big killing seal that smashed towards the black space that was swallowing her. Humph! Old Man Black was disdainful. No matter how strong Zi Xuansu was, she was not a top overlord of the universe. For a strong cultivator like him who had mastered space, Zi Xuansu was not a problem. The black space spewed out a vast space aura, covering the entire residence. No matter how strong Zi Xuansu's aura was, she could not break free from this dark space. The sixth elder was surprised. The black-robed man was not a cultivator of the Zi family, but was accidentally saved by Zi Xuning's grandfather. He stayed in the Zi family to repay his kindness and had always been Zi Xuning's guardian. The sixth elder really did not expect this person's combat power to be so strong. Even in the vast universe, this level of control of space was considered a strong cultivator. They battled for more than 100 rounds and finally, the black-robed man rushed forward impatiently. His fist burst out like a black sun, and the light of the great path that filled the sky exploded. The fist bombarded Zi Xuansu, causing her entire body to tremble. Buzz! The black-robed man waved his hand and covered Zi Xuansu. No matter how she struggled, she could not escape from the black-robed man's palm. Sixth Elder, are you just going to watch? An outsider is bullying a strong cultivator of my clan. Zi Xuansu was furious. She was about to succeed, but everything was reversed. She was so depressed that she wanted to vomit blood. You'd better think carefully about how you're going to answer to your clan. The sixth elder snorted. Don't hurt her. Seal Zi Xuansu. When we return to the clan, we'll deal with her together. Sixth elder, you're unfair. Zi Xuansu struggled to be sealed by the black-robed man. She was kept in a space treasure, and the entire residence quieted down. Only Yan Bingzhen was trembling and her face was pale. Su Yan, why don't I give my subordinate to you? Zi Xuning smiled, and Yan Bingzhen was in despair. She had treated Su Yan so badly. How could he let her go? Zi Xiaoning was now giving her to Su Yan. She could not imagine how terrible it would be. Hearing this, Su Yan shook his head and said in annoyance, "What use do I have for such a rebellious person? Since she's your subordinate, you can deal with her yourself. I'm too lazy to deal with her now. Lock her up first." Zi Xiaoning's words terrified Yan Bingzhen. She said, "Miss, I know I'm wrong. You're magnanimous. Please, spare me, spare me." The black-robed man picked her up and was disgusted by her pitiful appearance. "Zi Xiaoning, you'll get your retribution. I've worked so hard for you all these years." Seeing that Zi Xiaoning treated her like air, Yan Bingzhen lost control and roared. She was in despair. She knew Zi Xiaoning very well. Once she was locked up in the dungeon, she would never be able to crawl out of it. With Zi Xiaoning's prestige, she did not even need to do anything. The guards of the Cosmos Business Alliance would torture her to death. "Su Yan, I didn't expect you to be so bold. You're not even afraid of Zi Xuansu." Zi Xiaoning looked as if nothing had happened. Her snow-white skin was sparkling and full, exuding a mature temperament. She wore a tight red chong sam, which made her look enchanting and charming. Her face was full of smiles, and there was also a trace of relief, as if she had been entrusted with a heavy burden. "If you'd come earlier, I wouldn't be so scared." Su Yan was relieved. "This little brother is Su Yan." Sixth Elder Zi Yangqing looked at him, and a smile appeared on his old face. "I saw that your battle strength had recovered, and there were traces of the solar fist. To cultivate this fist technique requires an extremely strong physical body. I didn't expect you to be able to cultivate it." Su Yan's eyelids twitched. He said, "I did obtain the cultivation method of the solar fist." Senior Zi Zhengqiu. Su Yan read out the words left behind by Zi Zhengqiu. Zi Yangqing was furious. "How dare you desecrate the ancestor's corpse? You bastard!" Zi Xiaoning's expression also turned slightly cold. Zi Zhengqiu could still be considered her great-grandfather, but Zi Lulan had destroyed his corpse. "Little friend, the solar fist is a secret of our clan." Zi Yangqing suddenly frowned and said, "Has this secret technique been passed down to others?" Sixth Elder. Zi Xiaoning glanced at him and said, "The solar fist was also one of the rewards I gave him. Since Su Yan learned it in advance, I saved myself the effort. I still have things to talk to Su Yan, so please help yourself." Chapter 357. Zi Xiaoning left with Su Yan and quickly brought Su Yan into a secret room. Seeing her careful look, Su Yan knew that the mysterious bone book was very important. Perhaps even the sixth elder did not know what the bone book was. "You really did me a big favor. How can I thank you?" Zi Xiaoning lazily lay on the chair. Her voluptuous snow-white body and curves undulated. Her limpid eyes rippled with joy as she looked at Su Yan, who had changed a lot in the past few years. Su Yan was tall and straight. He wore a white robe and did not have a strong aura. However, as he breathed, there was a faint fluctuation in his body that was as deep as the abyss. This was a shocking accumulation of resources that could soar to the sky in the future. Zi Xiaoning was still surprised. She did not expect Su Yan to have such terrifying battle strength. He could kill the Star Domain Supremes of the Tianqian Star Domain as he wished. If it was not for the Devil Fog Forbidden Zone, this person would definitely become a hot young overlord in the hundreds of star domains nearby. Su Yan smiled. "How does Miss Zi Xiaoning want to thank me? I might consider it if you give yourself to me." Hearing this, Zi Xiaoning rolled her eyes at him. Her eyes were full of flirtatious and alluring. She giggled. "Why do you like me? I can consider it too. After all, you are a young man with unlimited potential." "Why did you add the word young? I'm not young." Su Yan's eyes scanned her voluptuous body, exuding a seductive aura. His unscrupulous gaze made Zi Xiaoning smile coquettishly. "You have guts. When you comprehend the Great Tao, I will consider it." "Is it difficult to comprehend the Great Tao?" Su Yan asked. "That's only natural. Over the years, the number of young overlords who were trapped in the Transcendence realm was too many to count. Even some of the sovereign physiques were unlucky enough to find it difficult to step into the Grand Tao realm. Even the Quasi-Tao realm was far from the Grand Tao realm. I didn't expect you to be able to suppress Quasi-Tao realm cultivators. As for whether you can take this step in the future, it is still unknown. Zi Xuning knew very well that Su Yan was all alone and had no one to rely on. It could be said that it was a miracle that he could come this far. However, the road ahead would become more and more difficult. It was really too difficult to compete with the young sovereigns of the various major star fields. After all, the top 10 star domains were always strong, and the young supremes were more outstanding than the previous generation. Not to mention that they controlled blessed lands, top-notch training halls, and all kinds of rare heavens and earth. The limited resources were monopolized almost all of those resources. Limited and resources. It was almost impossible to go against the heavens. Zi Xuning's red lips were bright and enchanting. She said, "You've caused a lot of trouble this time. The Ancestral Hall is very concerned about you. I'm very curious, what kind of opportunity did you get in the Devil Mist? To be able to comprehend the profundity of space, ordinary Quasi-Tao realm cultivators would not be able to stop you." "It's nothing, I just took a trip to the gates of hell." Su Yan shrugged and said, "I'm also curious, what is the treasure of your clan? It was really full of twists and turns. I almost lost my life. No matter what, you have to make it up to me." Su Yan threw the mysterious bone book away. He had already grasped the secret art, so it was useless for him. Zi Xuning held the mysterious bone book. The smile on her face vanished, and her limpid eyes scanned the book. After a moment, she looked at Su Yan, and the smile on her face became even brighter. She said in a seductive tone, "Anything is fine." This sweet voice left Su Yan speechless. After a moment of silence, he said, "What is this bone book? Why is there not a single word on it? Is it a treasure, or—" "The truth is, I'm not sure." Zi Xuning hesitated for a moment. Then she said in a soft voice, "It is said to be a lost secret art of my clan. Because we are missing a bone book, the secret art is incomplete." Su Yan was flabbergasted. The secret art he obtained was not complete? Zi Xuning probably would not have thought that Su Yan had already seen the true face of the secret art. But Su Yan's secret art was already shocking enough. If it was my complete secret art, how terrifying would it be? It must be incredible, right? Is it a supernatural power? Su Yan asked. He wanted to know more. After all, the secret art could revive the broken cauldron. This made him feel that this matter was of great importance. Of course. Zi Xuning nodded and said, "I don't know how strong it is, but this secret art is our clan's most precious possession. So, you have done me a great favor. What do you want? Just say it." Zi Xuning was in a good mood. If she brought the mysterious bone book back to her clan, then her position in the Cosmos Business Alliance would rise steadily. She would even gain the trust of the old ancestor and be entrusted with important tasks. What kind of power was the Cosmos Business Alliance? A giant that could summon wind and rain in the business world. If they stomped their feet, the entire universe's business alliances would tremble. They were the richest power in the universe. In the future, Zi Xuning would definitely be a strong woman at the top of the pyramid. Sensing that Zi Xuning did not know much, Su Yan stopped to ask. He smiled and said, "I haven't thought of what I want. There are just some things that I want to know." "I will definitely tell you everything I know." Zi Xuning chuckled. "Just ask. I'm very curious. What do you want to know?" "I want to know about a part of the ancient history of the burial realm." Su Yan's words caused Zi Xuning to frown. She said in surprise, "Instead of asking me, why don't you ask Tai Baokai? It has the aura of the burial realm on its body. If it weren't for the fact that you are related to the burial realm bloodline, I wouldn't have asked for your help." Tai Baokai. Su Yan's heart trembled. He and Tai Baokai both came from Earth. Earth was the later progenitor, the second ancestral land of the burial realm bloodline. As for Tai Baocai's origins, even it was unclear. The burial realm bloodline is filled with mystery and terror. Zi Xuning stood up. She was tall and slender, and her snow-white skin was full and translucent. She walked over to Su Yan and sternly said, "The great powers of the universe all change color when they talk about them. After all, they were once the masters of this universe. They were powerful to the peak. But in the distant wild era, something happened that was never recorded in ancient history. It is rumored that a large number of powerhouses of the burial realm bloodline disappeared. They were strong on the outside but weak on the inside. The ancestral hall joined forces with the other great powers to attack them." "Why did they disappear?" Su Yan asked. "I'm not sure." Zi Xuning pondered. She said, "Even the old antiques can't say for sure. But one thing is certain. The 9 great immortal mountains are the most precious treasures of the burial realm bloodline. There are some ancient rumors that if one can gather the 9 great immortal mountains, they might be able to control the entire universe." Su Yan had already seen 2 of the 9 great immortal mountains. They required immortal jades to open, but controlling the 9 great immortal mountains meant controlling the universe? This was just too much of a fantasy. This rumor is somewhat terrifying. Who knows if it's true or false? Zi Xuning sighed. The reason for this is that the collapse of the burial realm bloodline is related to the mother scripture they grasped. It is rumored that the cultivation system of the ancient cultivation world evolved from the mother scripture. The great powers of the ancestral hall all want to obtain it. Mother scripture. Su Yan breathed heavily. Whether it was the mother scripture or immortal jades, he had both. Is this the fundamental reason why the burial realm bloodline lost their inheritance? Su Yan's voice was somewhat gloomy. Is the mother scripture so important? Not entirely, she said. A starving camel is still bigger than a horse. I heard from the old ancestor of the clan that their clan seemed to have provoked something they shouldn't have. I don't know what it is, and my understanding of the burial realm bloodline is limited. Now, the ancestral hall wants to destroy the burial realm bloodline the most. The battle 100 years ago shook the entire universe. A large number of experts from the ancestral hall came out and killed until the universe was dyed red with blood. That day could be said to be the end of the world. The ancestral hall's strength was obvious to all. Many people died. In fact, in order to kill a single person, the ancestral hall experts didn't hesitate to pay any price. They massacred one ancient star after another, and billions of lives were buried with them. Even the heavens were crying. A sea of blood was drifting, and billions of corpses were lying on the ground. The ancestral hall seems to have gone mad. I don't know why. Perhaps an important character of the burial realm bloodline provoked the ancestral hall to go on a killing spree. They massacred all the major starfields. It is said that almost all the starfields that were involved in the battle were wiped out. Zi Xuning's eyes were filled with fear. After all, it was too cruel. It was a terrifying disaster of blood that swept across the vast universe. Su Yan clenched his fist. He knew that it was most likely because of him. He breathed heavily, trying to calm himself down. He asked, "What happened after that?" After that, Zi Xuning sighed softly. After the Star Tomb incident, the burial realm bloodline disappeared without a trace. They must have gone into hibernation. Their vitality has been greatly damaged. However, I know that in recent years, the Ancestral Hall has been sending out experts to chase after the burial realm bloodline. They're hunting down the cultivators from the necropolis who escaped years ago. Judging by how crazy they are, someone must have appeared and touched their nerve. Su Yan clenched his fist. He couldn't calm down. Su Yan couldn't forget the deaths of Grandpa Flame Sea and the others. It was like a formation that was stabbed into his heart. His chest felt suffocated, and a kind of anger surged within him. There were some scenes he didn't dare to imagine. He was sent away when he was young, but what about the others? They were hunted down by the ancestral hall. They didn't even let the children go. They were thrown to their deaths, their blood splashing across the sky. This was a monstrous blood feud that seeped deep into their bones. Su Yen clenched his fist. Blue veins popped out on his forehead. Su Dalong's words echoed in his ears. He had already grown up. He was no longer the ignorant child of the past who wanted to use his strong arms to protect his clansmen. A pair of delicate hands gently landed on Su Yan's shoulders. Her slender fingers exerted a bit of strength. Zi Xiaoning emitted a mature and gentle aura. She gently massaged Su Yan's shoulders and smiled. Although I don't know who you are or what grudges you have with the ancestral hall, I don't want to know. But little man, your arms aren't strong enough. Don't be blinded by hatred. The road ahead is still long. It's still unknown who will win and who will lose. As a core member of the Cosmos Business Alliance, Zi Xiaoning understood some of the powers in the universe. If the ancestral hall knew that Su Yen was still alive, they would definitely eliminate him to prevent future troubles. Su Yen slowly relaxed. How could he forget the heart-wrenching experience? Mississippi, the black-robed man suddenly entered the secret room. Seeing their intimate appearance, the black-robed man's face darkened. He had watched Zi Xiaoning grow up. Although he knew that the clan had already begun to choose a Dao companion for Zi Xiaoning, the black-robed man felt that there were too few people who could match her. It would be more appropriate if an invincible young supreme came. Su Yen was admittedly a rising star of the younger generation, but he really didn't have the qualifications to be so close to Zi Xiaoning. What's wrong? Zi Xiaoning frowned. Supreme Elder Zi Tai is here. The black-robed man's words made Zi Xiaoning's face darken. How did this old thing come so quickly? Did he receive some news? The mysterious bone book was of great importance. Even the old ancestor paid attention to it. However, Zi Xiaoning didn't expect Zi Tai to come so quickly. He must have come for the treasure. Su Yen, wait for me here for a while. I'll go take care of some things first. The moment Zi Xiaoning was about to leave, the entire secret room rumbled. All of a sudden, the great killing formation that was about to awaken became dim without light. It was shaken by wave after wave of incomparable divine aura, as if it was about to be dissolved. Su Yen was endlessly shocked. This was a very terrifying expert. He forcefully opened the door to the secret room. It was as if a sleeping lion had charged in. His eyes emitted an ancient aura of primal chaos, intimidating people's hearts. He strode over with boundless divine might. The aura from his body automatically spread out, causing the entire secret room to tremble. Zi Tai's aura was too terrifying. When he saw Zi Xiaoning, he smiled. Xiaoning, I heard that you found the lost treasure of my clan. The clan specially sent me here to escort the treasure back to the clan. Zi Xiaoning was very unhappy. Zi Tai hurried over in a panic, as if he wanted to steal the credit. However, on the surface, he still maintained his composure and said, Supreme Elder has worked hard. You came really quickly. This matter is of great importance. I dare not be the slightest bit careless. Zi Tai was wearing a golden robe. His aura was like the sea, and his body was surrounded by strands of primal chaos. He said, Also, Xiaoning, Xuansu was also thinking about the safety of the treasure. Although her methods were a bit extreme, it shouldn't be to the extent of being suppressed and sealed, right? Chapter 358. Su Yen was infuriated. What did she mean by there was no danger to his life? Did he have to die in Zi Xuansu's hands for the Zi family to punish Zi Xuansu? Not only did Zi Xuansu snatch the treasure, she even wanted to kill him. Now that Zi Tai was here, he made Zi Xuansu look like she was wronged? This caused Su Yen to be both shocked and furious. What Zi Xuansu said made his expression even worse. He had escorted the Zi family's relic from afar. It was fine if Zi Xuansu did not thank him, But she actually blamed him? How could Su Yan remain calm? Grand Supreme Elder. Zi Xioning's expression changed slightly. She said angrily, if Zi Xuansu chased Su Yan away and prevented our clan's relic from ever returning, how much punishment would he have to bear? Isn't that enough? She snatched the treasure and ruined our clan's reputation. I think sealing her is already giving her some face. How dare you? Zi Tai's expression darkened. He said, Xioning, Zi Xuansu is still your elder. How can you call her by her name? Is she worthy? Zi Xioning sneered. She's lucky that I didn't kill her. How dare she plot against me behind my back? I believe that the patriarch will not let her off easily if he knows about this. You! Zi Tai's expression was ugly. He glared at Zi Xioning's furious expression. He snorted and said in a gentle tone, I can't be bothered with Zi Xuansu's matters. The Hall of Penal Law will punish her. The black-robed man was surprised and muttered to himself, it seems that the relic is of great importance. I don't usually see Zi Tai giving in. I didn't expect this. It seems that the future young mistress will have a high status in the clan. Oh right, Zi Lulan is dead. Humph, as a disciple of the Zi family, she disrespected her elders. She deserved to be killed. Zi Tai said coldly, you even dared to destroy the remains of our ancestor. You did the right thing. Our clan will never allow such a scum who only cares about his own interest. It's good that he's dead. Zi Xioning's expression eased up quite a bit. This scene made Zi Tai laugh and say, Xioning, quickly take out the relic and let me have a look. After all, this item is my clan's top secret. I'm afraid you won't be able to see through the clues within. Zi Xioning directly took out the mysterious bone book. After all, Zi Tai was the Grand Elder of the Zi clan, and he was qualified to study it. He had even made this trip to escort the relic back to the clan. This is it. Zi Tai's body trembled. He stared at the mysterious bone book and studied it seriously. His entire body was emitting chaotic air currents, which wrapped him up tightly. Even the mysterious bone book was covered. Zi Xioning snorted. They didn't want her to see it because it was only passed down to males and not females. Zi Xioning was very unhappy. After all, she was the one who found it. However, this also showed the importance of the relic. It was likely that only the great ancestor of the Zi clan would be qualified to cultivate this method. Boom! A heavy aura suddenly transmitted from the chaotic air. It was as if the sky overturning seal had sunk here. It could easily destroy the entire secret room. Grand Elder, what are you doing? The black-robed man frowned. Could it be that there was something wrong with the mysterious bone book that Su Yan had taken out? The chaotic air immediately dispersed. Zi Tai's expression was as usual. His eyes scanned the surroundings, and his gaze fell on Su Yan. With his divine ability, he could see through Su Yan's original appearance with a single glance. He let out a dull voice, the younger generation will surpass us in time. You were able to kill the 10 great knights of the Ancestral Hall in one fell swoop, and even came out alive from the demonic fog. Little friend, you are not simple. Senior is overpraising me. Su Yan's hair stood on end. He could feel that Zi Tai's gaze was somewhat unfriendly. He said to Zi Xioning, Miss Xioning, if there's nothing else for me here, I will take my leave first. I will come back to visit another day. Alright, you can go. Zi Xioning nodded slightly. She still had many things to do, and even had to make a trip back to the clan. Wait. Zi Tai frowned slightly. His words made Su Yan's expression change slightly. Zi Xioning frowned even more. Grand Elder, is there anything else? Could it be that you want to take out some treasures and give them to Su Yan to express your gratitude? Hearing this, Zi Tai's eyes still stared at Su Yan without blinking. He suddenly said, Little friend, you are from the Ancestral Hall, right? Senior, why do you say that? Su Yan's heart skipped a beat. This old thing couldn't have seen that he had opened the mysterious bone book, right? Yes, Grand Elder. What connection could Su Yan have with the Ancestral Hall? Zixuning said, If Grand Elder has anything to ask, just ask me directly. I'm asking you. Tai's expression was somewhat ugly. He stared at Zixuning and said, You still don't know that someone has hoodwinked you. If I hadn't arrived in time, the consequences would have been unimaginable. What do you mean? Zixuning was still very confident in her judgment. She wouldn't easily suspect Su Yan. She asked, Could it be that the legacy treasure is fake? If it's fake, what does it have to do with Su Yan? The legacy treasure is real. Tai's eyes flashed and landed on the sixth elder Yangqing, who had been silent all this while. Tai said, The sixth elder has already told me about the solar fist. Our clan's secret was actually learned by an outsider. Su Yan was furious on the spot. What do you mean by that? Senior Zhengchu wrote his will. If we escort his remains back to the clan, we can obtain the secret technique of the solar fist. I have learned the solar fist. However, if you think that Senior Zhengchu's regret is to abolish it, I, Su Yan, swear that I will never use the solar fist again. Haha, you said you won't use it and you won't use it. Tai asked with a cold face. I, Su Yan, have mastered the all-heaven secret technique, the Big Dipper fist. Why would I need the solar fist? Su Yan's furious response caused Tai's aura to suddenly become 10,000 times more terrifying. His aura was extremely terrifying. He said with cold anger, You mean the solar fist is like the Big Dipper fist? You said it yourself. Su Yan said coldly. Grand Elder, what are you trying to do? Zixuning took a deep breath and said with an indifferent tone, Su Yan is my esteemed guest and also the person who brought back our clan's legacy treasure. I don't wish for anything unpleasant to happen. It's true that he is the person who escorted the legacy treasure. Tai said with a cold tone, I can ignore the solar fist. However, there is one thing that you should never have done. That is to peek at the inheritance on the mysterious bone book. What? This time, it was Zixuning's turn to be astonished. She couldn't even see through this mysterious bone book. Could it be that Su Yan could see through it? Empty words with no proof. You are framing me like this because of the solar fist. You even want to seal my mouth, right? Su Yan's heart sank to the bottom. This time, he might be in big trouble. Don't pretend in front of me. My cultivation is far beyond yours. With your cultivation, it's not enough to look at in front of me. Tai's aura filled the entire secret room. He said coldly, You are very dishonest. Our clan's legacy treasure isn't just this bone book. There should be a broken cauldron. What did you say? Su Yan's eyes widened. The broken cauldron was obtained on Earth. What did this have to do with their Z-clan? Su Yan, hand over our clan's treasured cauldron immediately. Tai said with a cold tone, This is our clan's legacy treasure. Don't worry, you will be rewarded. After all, it belongs to our clan. How can we lose it? But the Grand Elder said that there is only one bone book. What does it have to do with the broken cauldron? Zixuning also felt that there was a problem. This is our clan's top secret. You have no right to ask. Tai said coldly, Su Yan, hand over our clan's treasured cauldron immediately. That thing is useless to you. Don't worry, I will reward you. I won't let you down. What a joke. Su Yan's entire body was seething with rage. He pointed at Tai and shouted sternly, I went through untold hardships to find your clan's treasure, but now you covet my treasure. Where's your face? Don't think that I won't dare to scold you just because your cultivation is high. Presumptuous. The entire secret room was trembling. That horrifying aura was like the eruption of a raging sea. At this moment, Tai was too strong. If it wasn't for him intentionally suppressing it, the entire Cosmos Business Alliance would have collapsed. Su Yan, let me ask you, did you only get the bone book? Zixuning was still considered calm. There is indeed only this item. Su Yen said angrily, "Don't you believe me? As for the broken cauldron that he mentioned, it has always been my treasure. It has nothing to do with your clan." "Good lad, you still dare to quibble at this moment," Zitai said malevolently. "You really won't shed tears until you see the coffin. You secretly learned my clan's ultimate secret technique, and even secretly kept my clan's treasure. You better think clearly. What is the consequence of doing this? Can you bear it? You keep saying that it is your clan's treasure." Su Yen said sarcastically, "I will give you a chance. If you can take away your clan's legacy treasure, I will give it to you immediately. I won't say a word. As for the reward, there will be no need." Zitai's face was gloomy. He saw some images from the mysterious bone book and saw the broken cauldron, but he really didn't have the ability to summon the broken cauldron. "Supreme Elder, are you going to target my esteemed guest in front of me?" Zixioning snorted and said, "I don't care what treasure you want. But don't forget that the legacy treasure was brought back by Su Yen." "You are really muddle-headed," Zitai reprimanded. "Now that the inheritance has been leaked, this person can't be left alive. This is my Z clan's ultimate secret technique. It must be taken back." "I don't think it's necessary," Zixioning said coldly. "Su Yen is my man now. He will enter the Z clan sooner or later. He will have to learn this secret technique sooner or later." The sixth elder was completely dumbfounded. Su Yen was Zixioning's man? "You." Zitai pointed his finger at Zixioning. He was so angry that his arm was shaking. His face was flushed red. He flew into a rage and said, "You are full of nonsense. For your marriage, the clan went around the world to pick out young overlords from various major star fields for you. Do you know how much damage it will do to the reputation of the Z clan if your words are spread out?" He stared at Su Yen with mournful eyes. A genius from a small Big Dipper star field couldn't even compare to some of the young overlords rejected by the Z clan. What right did he have to become a cultivation partner with Zixioning? He escorted the treasure from thousands of miles away and was almost killed by Zixuansu. Now you want to snatch his treasure. Do you know how much damage it will do to the reputation of the Cosmos Business Alliance if this matter is spread out? Zixioning's sharp reply made Zitai furious. "Shut up. I think you are getting more and more disgraceful. You even dare to criticize me." Chapter 359. A wisp of anger surged up and filled his chest. He helped the Z clan find their lost treasure. As the Grand Elder of the Z clan, it was fine if he didn't thank him, but he even wanted to seize Su Yan's broken cauldron. Now, his true colors were revealed. Zitai's biggest goal was the Celestial Mountain. Su Yen came out alive from the demon fog. He definitely knew what was inside the demon fog. Even the Ancestral Hall was willing to pay a huge price to attack the demon fog forbidden zone. Zitai couldn't help but think that it might be related to the Celestial Mountain. If he could grasp the whereabouts of the Celestial Mountain, or even the method to pass through the demon fog, Zitai didn't even dare to think about this kind of fortune. "Grand Elder, you've gone too far." Zixioning clenched her jade-like hands and said, "Originally, Su Yen bringing back our clan's lost treasure is a great thing, but you've gone too far. You've got guts, disobeying me time and time again, and now you dare to criticize me." Zitai was really angry. He took a big step forward and shouted, "Zixioning, you've got guts. It seems like you've relied on your contributions to be so rude to me. If I don't teach you a lesson, what do you think the clan's rules are? Decorations?" Rumble. Zitai was domineering. He was ready to suppress Zixioning and dig out the treasures on Su Yan's body. He was going to dig out the secret of the Celestial Mountain. Even if he only stretched out a palm, it was still filled with a terrifying divine aura. It was as if the heaven and earth were being split open. It was filled with a terrifying divine aura, and it suppressed Zixioning from all directions. "Young miss," The black-robed man's expression changed greatly. His aura suddenly changed. It was as if a space beast was rushing over. He pushed forward with both hands, and a monstrous spatial fluctuation gushed out. It turned into a huge spatial palm and blocked Z-Tai's power. A junior like you dares to make a move against me? If I don't teach you a lesson, don't you know your identity? Z-Tai was very disdainful. The moment his palm collided with the black-robed man's power, the black-robed man seemed to have been struck by lightning. The spatial fluctuation released from his body was collapsing, and the seal he created was about to be torn apart. Ah! The black-robed man raised his head to the sky and let out a long roar. His entire body gushed out with even more boundless spatial energy, evolving one after another great divine ability after another. He wanted to stop Z-Tai. How dare you use your slave to bully his master? You must be tired of living. Song-Yun, watch how I suppress you. Z-Tai's aura surged violently. His body's surface was overflowing with chaotic qi. His palm was blazing hot and could be called the palm of an ancient godly spirit. Layer by layer, he shattered the power of space. His entire palm was magnified infinitely in this narrow space. Song-Yun. Zi Xioning's expression was extremely ugly. Old thing, if you dare to hurt him, I'll make you suffer. Z-Tai was even more furious. Tens of thousands of streams of qi gushed out from his palm, causing Song-Yun to feel as if he had fallen into purgatory. That was an extremely terrifying primal chaos energy. It was as if there were tens of thousands of mountains lying in front of him, causing him to suffocate. Pooh! This palm landed solidly on Song-Yun's back, causing him to cough up large mouthfuls of blood. His skin split open and he was sent flying. Damn it! Song-Yun's expression was ferocious. He crawled up in an instant and rushed forward to protect Zi Xioning. I think you've really reached the end of your life. Z-Tai's eyes flashed with killing intent. He stretched out his hand, and it was even more shocking than the last time. Chaotic killing intent was released. He had activated his killing intent and wanted to suppress the black-robed man and refine him to death. Buzz! It was also at this moment that Zi Xioning appeared in front of Z-Tai's palm. When the palm was about to touch her, her forehead emitted a resplendent immortal radiance. There was an extremely terrifying imprint between her eyebrows. It was as if a sleeping divine king was about to tear the sky apart. Ancestors' imprint. Z-Tai quickly retracted his palm. His expression was ugly. He did not expect Zi Xioning to have the ancestor's imprint on her body. This imprint was not something that anyone could obtain. It seemed like the ancestor trusted Zi Xioning very much. Song-Yun's expression was ugly. There was a trace of shame in his heart for not being able to protect Zi Xioning. Grand Supreme Elder, have you had enough? The ancestor's imprint between Zi Xioning's eyebrows could erupt at any time. She shouted coldly, Stop it. I, Zi Xioning, am not an incompetent person. If you insist on doing this, I will not stand by and do nothing. When the time comes, things will get out of hand. I'll see how you're going to deal with this. I can tell you clearly that Su Yan is under my protection. Zi Xioning's attitude was tough. Her entire body was emitting a powerful aura. Although she did not have much combat strength, she was still a strong woman in the business world. Xioning, the ancestor trusted you so much. Now you dare to obstruct me and harm the clan's interests again and again. Z-Tai was not afraid. Now that he was here, he was not afraid that Su Yan would escape. Even Zi Xioning could not stop him. Harm the clan's interests. Su Yan widened his eyes in anger. He pointed at Z-Tai and said angrily, I, Su Yan, helped your clan find the relic, and you treat me like this. Do you still have a conscience? Hee kid, you covet my clan's relic, and still have the face to say this to me. Z-Tai said with a sinister tone, I will give you one more chance. Hand over my clan's relic and tell me the secret of the devil mist. If you tell me the truth, I can pretend that I didn't see what happened just now. I will even give you a generous reward. Everyone will be happy. What do you think? What if I say no? Su Yen wanted to see how shameless Zi Tai would be for the sake of the relic. Very simple. Zi Tai went silent for a moment. He smiled and said, "My clan's relic is with you. I can take it away directly. Moreover, I know that His Highness Daozu is looking for you. I will hand you over to the Ancestral Hall. What do you think? It is said that the Ancestral Hall is very cruel to the descendants of the burial region. Some children can even fall to their death, let alone you. I have seen shameless people, but I have never seen someone as shameless as you." Su Yen was extremely furious. His chest was heaving up and down violently as he said furiously, "Zi Tai, you are really ruthless. What enmity do I, Su Yen, have with you? How can you be so shameless to this extent? Kid, my patience is limited. Don't challenge my patience." Zi Tai sneered and said, "You only have two choices. Either you hand over my clan's relic and tell me the secret of the Devil Mist, or I will suppress you and hand you over to the Ancestral Hall. These two choices are not easy to choose. Young man, you are still young. You still have a lot of room for growth in the future. I will sponsor you with a sum of resources. Why not?" Zi Tai looked as though he was sure that he had Su Yen under control. He wasn't willing to hand Su Yen over to the Ancestral Hall. He also wanted to know what was inside the Devil Mist. Ah! Su Yen looked up to the sky and laughed. When a person is greedy to the extreme, they can really do anything. You don't even blush when you say this. I really admire you. Young man, the world is very cruel. There are some things that don't belong to you. Zi Tai's malevolent face gradually revealed itself. He was too lazy to talk nonsense with Su Yen. His entire body was filled with murderous aura as he was ready to make his move. He didn't believe that Su Yen could withstand the torture and still not let go. If I don't leave the Cosmos Business Alliance tomorrow, someone will make public the matter of your Cosmos Business Alliance's cheating and robbery. Su Yen replied helplessly. He didn't know how strong the dragon totem was and whether it could stop Zi Tai and help him break out of the encirclement. What does it have to do with me? Zi Tai smiled coldly. Xioning, look at his character. He has already thought of you as a vile person. He actually left a backup plan. I don't think you can be merciful when dealing with such people. If it wasn't for you just now, do you think he could still stand here and talk unscathed? I would have killed him long ago. Grand Supreme Elder, I advise you to think about the consequences. Do you know where he came from? Zi Xioning said indifferently. If you provoke someone you shouldn't, I'll see how you explain it. Grand Supreme Elder, there are things that a man shouldn't do. You went against your conscience and did such a thing. Aren't you afraid of retribution? Songyun didn't care about the elders. He was only responsible for protecting Zi Xioning. However, Zi Tai's actions now made him, who had always been upright, extremely angry. Su Yen was just a small cultivator. However, Zi Tai actually wanted to dig out some secrets from him. Su Yen even brought back the treasures that the Zi family had painstakingly searched for. However, Zi Tai actually dared to say such things. This was really shameful. He couldn't stand it anymore. Don't think that with Zi Xioning protecting you, I won't dare to kill you. Zi Tai's patience had reached its limit. The aura around his body became colder and colder. His killing intent surged. He said, "What background can he have? He's just a small disciple of the Big Dipper lineage. If I kill you, what can the Big Dipper lineage do to me?" Boom! Zi Tai was powerful and overbearing. His entire body soared up and looked down at Su Yen. He wanted to suppress him and interrogate him. Rumble! In the distant Big Dipper lineage, in this bright and sacred archaic Tao field, a silver path suddenly stretched out. The Milky Way of the 9 heavens flowed down. The sun, moon, and stars lined up. The sacred aura covered the sky and earth. It was accompanied by grand chanting that resounded through the starry sky. The cultivators of Alcade City were stunned. They saw the silver path stretching to here and sitting in the sky above the Cosmos Business Alliance. It was a shadow, step by step, strolling over from a distant place. With each step, it was as if she was crossing a star system. The stars in the sky moved and flickered along with her, making her look like a celestial fairy. Touch a single finger of his, and see what I can do to you. A strand of terrifying killing intent engulfed the entire Alcade City. Vast starlight descended from the sky. Following the spreading of anger, the sun, moon, and stars seemed to appear in the sky above Alcade City. For a moment, terror overflowed to the sky. Zixioning crushed a jade tablet. She didn't think that it would really come. The entire secret chamber was trembling. A pair of eyes as bright as the stars directly looked over. Chapter 360. Who are you? Tai's expression darkened. He was about to get his hands on the treasure, but he didn't expect someone to interfere. They even barged into the Cosmos Business Alliance, and barged into their secret room. This shadow walked over with the 9 heavens of starlight accompanying her. She was exceptionally charming, and her body was flowing with moonlight. She had a kind of otherworldly and elegant beauty, like a goddess that walked out of a painting. Bamboo Moon! Su Yen clenched his fist tightly, and his eyes were filled with surprise. He didn't expect Bamboo Moon to come out of seclusion at this time and even come directly to the Cosmos Business Alliance. It seems like Bamboo Moon has a good relationship with him. Zixioning let out a sigh of relief. She had a good relationship with Bamboo Moon. She didn't expect to crush the token that Bamboo Moon gave her to be useful. Zixioning originally wanted to ask the Big Dipper lineage for help, but she didn't expect Bamboo Moon to come in person. I was wondering who it was. So it's the Big Dipper lineage's Star Lord. Tai was very arrogant and said with an arrogant tone, Big Dipper Star Lord, you are quite bold. You even dare to barge into my Cosmos Business Alliance. You are so rude. Even if your Big Dipper lineage's old ancestor came out, he wouldn't dare to barge into my Cosmos Business Alliance. Bamboo Moon was graceful and elegant, and she had a beauty that could captivate birds and beasts. She didn't even look at Tai, and her bright eyes landed on Su Yen. Her gentle and beautiful face surged with a smile that could topple a city. Her elegance was peerless. You are here. Bamboo Moon smiled at Su Yen. That is really surprising. How long have you been here? Why didn't you come to the sect to look for me? Su Yen looked at Bamboo Moon. He had a lot to say, but he didn't know where to start. He smiled and said, I was delayed by something. It's not too late. Zixioning was surprised. She looked at the two of them and felt a little strange. What was their relationship? In the past, because Shueguan coveted Su Yan's scriptures, when the Shui family wanted to deal with Su Yan, Bamboo Moon personally came out to resolve the grudge between Su Yan and Su Yan. Song Yun was also stunned. Wasn't Su Yan a disciple of the Big Dipper faction? Could it be fake? Perhaps there was some other relationship between them. Isn't it too late? Bamboo Moon said in a reproachful tone. She had just come out of seclusion and noticed the token that Zixioning had crushed. When she rushed over, she happened to see this scene. A wisp of coldness welled up in her heart. Lord of the Big Dipper. Tai was furious. He pointed at her and shouted angrily, You are so arrogant. I was talking to you just now. Didn't you hear me? Let me tell you the truth. Your sex Su Yen stole the treasure of my Cosmos Business Alliance. If you don't want my family to vent our anger on your Big Dipper faction, you better let Su Yen explain the matter clearly. Do I need to explain it to you? Bamboo Moon's temperament was graceful and elegant, but her words revealed a trace of coldness. If your family wants to start a war with my Big Dipper faction, ask your clan's patriarch to come personally. Who do you think you are? How dare you say this to me? Bastard! Tai was furious. His figure instantly blurred. When he reappeared, he was already in front of Su Yen. He raised his hand and grabbed at him. No matter what, he wouldn't let Su Yen leave easily. It would be best if he could capture him alive and bring him back to the clan for interrogation. Even if the Big Dipper faction came to ask for him, when the day came, the secret might have been unearthed. Su Yen was useless to him. That terrifying aura leaked out and covered the sky as it started to devour Su Yen. It was just a wisp of stellar transposition power. Z-Tai came faster. This wisp of power wrapped around Su Yen and made him disappear under Z-Tai's palm in an instant. You are just a junior. How dare you block my way? Z-Tai's eyes widened in anger. When he looked at Bamboo Moon, he realized that Bamboo Moon had already appeared in front of him. However, at this moment, Bamboo Moon was extremely terrifying. It was as if there were countless stars in the universe falling here. For a moment, the entire secret room was filled with terrifying fluctuations. It was filled with the sun, moon, and stars. That was a shadow. It came from afar, pushing the sun, moon, and stars. Its aura was boundless and terrifying. Su Yen was shocked. The current Bamboo Moon was too terrifying. She was like a god, full of unparalleled combat power. Old thing, how dare you target my sex disciple in front of me? A slender jade-like hand stretched out. The moment it struck, the sun, moon, and stars rumbled. That terrifying power was hard to resist. This palm was like pulling down the 9 heavenly stars. The fluctuations it emitted were too powerful. But everything happened too quickly. Z-Tai didn't even have time to react. He was slapped by Bamboo Moon on his old face. Half of his face was sunken in, and he spat out a few teeth. He fell to the ground fiercely. She has broken through. Song Yun gasped. How old was Bamboo Moon now? She actually stepped into this domain and became a pinnacle expert in the universe. Could it be that the Big Dipper faction was going to rise with her? Z-Tai's hair was disheveled, and half of his face was badly mutilated. He let out a hysterical roar like a wild beast. Every roar was accompanied by chaotic airflow. If it wasn't for Bamboo Moon suppressing the entire secret chamber, this secret chamber would have collapsed. Under Z-Tai's furious roar, Alcade City would be bathed in blood. After all, he wasn't an ordinary person. He could be called a god. This slap made Z-Tai's heart burn with anger. He was about to explode. He was the dignified Grand Elder of the Z family. Now, he was actually slapped by a junior. If this spread out, how could he face others? I'll kill you, you bitch. Before Z-Tai could finish his words, Bamboo Moon's aura suddenly became terrifying again. The heaven and earth trembled, and the space sank. The endless stars in the hall were rumbling as they revolved. It made her look like the Lord of the Starry Sky, suppressing the universe. Z-Tai was naturally powerful. He had already started to comprehend the chaos. Chaotic killing light burst out from his body and turned into ancient chaos sword essence. He wanted to slash Bamboo Moon to death. However, under Bamboo Moon's fury, she had the peerless elegance of a sect master. The heaven and earth dimmed. It was as if an ancient god had crossed the starry sky and came here. Her entire body was releasing a brilliant light that overflowed the sky. Boom! Her slender jade-like hand lifted up again. Her aura destroyed everything. All kinds of chaotic killing swords that were slashing towards Z-Tai exploded. Her palm pressed down directly. An unimaginable force pressed down, causing Z-Tai's body and mind to break apart. He suddenly became alert. His aura soared into the absolute domain. One had to admit that he was very powerful. After being temporarily suppressed by Bamboo Moon, he could still quickly awaken and spurt out chaos. Humph! Bamboo Moon coldly snorted. Her jade-like hand pressed down. She was too terrifying. It was as if she could pluck the stars and capture the moon. She pressed down layer after layer, causing the layers of chaos to begin to unseal. Bastard, Lord of the Big Dipper, think carefully about what you want to do. Do you want to become enemies with my Z-clan? Z-Tai was a little frightened. Bamboo Moon's battle prowess was beyond his expectations. He couldn't block Bamboo Moon's methods at all. You think you are qualified to represent the Z-clan? Bamboo Moon stood in the void. She was peerless and had unparalleled beauty. She coldly said, "Even if the patriarch of your Z-clan is here, you are not qualified to say such words. You dare to be impudent in front of me? Don't you know where you are? What do you think my Big Dipper lineage is?" Boom! A huge explosion occurred here. Bamboo Moon's palm was emitting flames of fury. With a fierce press, this area was constantly destroyed. PFFF. Z-Tai spat out a big mouthful of blood. His flesh was cracked by Bamboo Moon's palm. He let out a mournful voice. "Lord of the Big Dipper, are you declaring war on my Z-clan? You humiliate me like this. Aren't you afraid that the Big Dipper lineage will be ruined in your hands? Your Big Dipper lineage has already weakened to this extent. What qualifications do you have to target me?" Bamboo Moon stood in the void without moving, but her palm swept over once again. It was infinitely terrifying. It seemed to have traversed the vast starry sky, approaching from afar. The radiance that gushed out made the space of the entire secret chamber seem to be grasped in the palm of her hand. "If I kill you, will your Z-clan dare to declare war on my Big Dipper lineage?" Bamboo Moon snorted coldly. She slapped Z-Tai's face again. The other side of his face caved in as well. He spat out 7 or 8 teeth. His face was badly mutilated. He fell to the ground fiercely. "Let me go if you have the ability. I want to see if you still have the courage to say such words when the time comes. Lord of the Big Dipper, I advise you not to make a mistake. I will tell you clearly now. Su Yen stole my clan's treasure." As soon as Z-Tai's words fell, he let out a wail like a pig being slaughtered. The vast universe stars were revolving in the sky. It looked like a field of star sand, but in fact, each of them was extremely majestic. They emitted an extremely terrifying aura and suppressed Z-Tai's body. "Old thing, you're already so old. You still have the face to shout here when you're targeting my disciples. Do you really think that I don't dare to kill you?" As this small starry sea revolved, all kinds of terrifying radiance shot down. It was as if the star-killing sword was slashing here. It made Z-Tai let out a heart-wrenching cry. There was a trace of fear in his heart as he felt the killing intent. "Lord of the Big Dipper, have mercy." The sixth elder's expression changed drastically. He said in a panic, "Let's talk nicely. Elder Z-Tai is also in a hurry. In a hurry? If Su Yen really stole your Z-clan's treasure, why would you send such an old thing over? Do you really think that our Big Dipper lineage has no one?" A trace of coldness flashed in Bamboo Moon's eyes. This condensed starry sea blazed once again. The terrifying fluctuations that spread out made Z-Tai scream. His entire body was badly mutilated. He let out a painful tremble. His internal organs were ruptured. He had suffered serious internal injuries. Z-Tai didn't dare to say another word. He was really afraid that Bamboo Moon would severely damage his vitality and shorten his lifespan. Lord of the Stars, at this moment, a storm was brewing in Alcade City. Because Bamboo Moon came out of seclusion and even the Cosmos Business Alliance that suddenly attacked Alcade City, it affected the nerves of all the major forces. Lords of various races frequently came to Alcade City. However, when the heroes gathered and arrived at the Cosmos Business Alliance, they were all stunned when they saw the scene in the secret chamber. That was Z-Tai, but he was taught a lesson by Bamboo Moon. He didn't even dare to raise his head. Su Yen. Chapter 361. The Alcade Hall Master gnashed his teeth in hatred. After all, the great child Alcade had been suppressed by Su Yen and hadn't been released. Since Su Yen had run into the demonic mist, the great child Alcade wouldn't be able to survive. Sure enough, the great child Alcade's origin spirit lamp was extinguished soon after. The Phoenix Hairpin's space couldn't block the demonic mist after all. Su Yen didn't think much of it. So what if he died? But now, experts from various races had come to the Cosmos Business Alliance and recognized him. Big trouble. Su Yen clenched his fist. He had originally planned to quietly hand the item over to Zi Xiaoning and then leave. But now, he had been completely exposed. If he delayed for too long, there might be ancestor-level existences from the Ancestral Hall coming to kill him. What is the Alcade Hall Master talking about? Su Yen? The entire Brilliance City fell silent. It was so quiet that even a pin drop could be heard clearly. The person who had stirred up a storm in the Big Dipper half a year ago had killed Kong Yuan, the young overlord of the Ancestral Hall's 10 Great Knights, Su Yen. He had fallen into the demonic mist and was already considered a dead man. But half a year later, he had actually come out alive and was even in the Cosmos Business Alliance. The various major powers were doubting their lives. How could such a thing happen? How could Su Yen escape from the demonic mist and even be in the Cosmos Business Alliance safe and sound? It's really him. The crowd opened their heavenly eyes and looked at the youth in the secret chamber. Some people had seen through Su Yan's true identity and were so shocked that their jaws almost dropped. How could Su Yen still be alive? Wasn't he buried in the demonic mist? One had to know that His Highness Daozu had paid a great price and still couldn't open the demonic mist. So how could Su Yen come out alive? Unbelievable, he has returned. They were all alarmed and some of the older generation's eyes were burning. What was hidden in the demonic mist? It was worth the Ancestral Hall paying such a great price. It was rumored that there was an immortal mountain in the Big Dipper. Some people couldn't help but think about it. Alcade City was in an uproar. Everyone was talking about how the young overlord Su Yen, who had died half a year ago, had come out alive from the demonic mist. Just this matter alone was shocking enough. It wouldn't take long for this news to spread to dozens of nearby star domains. What did you say? Su Yen is still alive. When the members of the Shui family received the news, they looked as though they had just eaten a pile of sh*t. Their faces were extremely ugly. Back then, in order to kill Su Yen, the Shui family head and the other 4 had died in his hands. Those 4 were Quasi-Dao state cultivators. Because of Su Yen, half of the Shui family's sky had collapsed. More than half of the younger generation had been killed. 2. A disciple shouted angrily. The entire Alcade City was already filled with news. All kinds of news were being spread out in a grandiose manner. It would definitely sweep through the entire Big Dipper star region at an extremely fast speed. A young overlord who had fallen had come out alive and had even killed his way out of the demonic mist. This was very significant. Who knew what he had obtained inside? Zi Xiaoning smiled bitterly. Bamboo Moon didn't know how big of a problem Su Yen was in. Now, once the news of him coming out alive from the demonic mist was spread out, it would be big trouble. The Ancestral Hall wouldn't let this matter go. Bamboo Moon was also slightly startled. How could Su Yen be so famous now? Even the overlords of the universe knew about it. Could it be that something big had happened while she was in seclusion? Bamboo Moon, I want to leave this place. Su Yen transmitted. I am in big trouble. I need to leave. Send me away. How big of a trouble can you cause? Bamboo Moon frowned. She was very clear about Su Yan's background. He was just a newly awakened life ancient star. Even if he caused some trouble, wouldn't the Big Dipper bloodline be able to protect him? What did you say? Bamboo Moon's eyes shrank. She transmitted. You are related to the Burial Region bloodline? Immortal Jades? Su Yen didn't expect Bamboo Moon to know that he had immortal jades. These things were enough to make the Ancestral Hall go crazy. But when Bamboo Moon left without saying goodbye, she didn't take the immortal jades with her. Bamboo Moon also thought of many things. Her breathtakingly beautiful face slowly turned solemn. If Su Yen was really an important character of the Burial Region bloodline, then this was too big of a problem. The Big Dipper bloodline might not be able to withstand the pressure from the various forces of the ancestral hall. After all, the burial region bloodline had been targeted by some peak forces. They couldn't possibly see a rising star from the burial region bloodline showing signs of rising. Could it be that life ancient star? Bamboo Moon knew many things. A trace of surprise flashed in her eyes. She thought that the life ancient star Su Yen came from might not be as simple as it seemed on the surface. Hurry up and leave. Don't hesitate. You can't protect him, Zi Xuning said in a low voice. When the ancestral hall sends people, we will be in big trouble. Su Yen, if you don't hand over my clan's inheritance, you can't leave. Zi Tai gasped for breath and said in a shrill voice, That's my clan's inheritance. Su Yen, I can let bygones be bygones, but you must hand over my clan's inheritance. Get out of my way. Bamboo Moon's mind was restless, but Zi Tai's words enraged her. She kicked Zi Tai, causing him to scream in pain. Half of his body was stomped to pieces. He was like a dead dog as he crashed into the wall. Grand Elder! The sixth elder was so scared that he shivered. He quickly ran over. Let's go. The sect has a domain crossing array. Bamboo Moon had made her decision. The Big Dipper bloodline had an old ancestor overseeing it, but Su Yan's status was enough to make the ancestral hall go to war. The Big Dipper bloodline couldn't withstand the pressure from the outside world. At that time, it wouldn't be easy for Su Yan to leave. Su Yan, that little bastard, you actually came out alive. Ha ha, the heavens are helping me. A cold voice suddenly exploded in Brilliant City. A blood-robed man with a powerful aura crossed the starry skies. He carried a war spear, and his killing intent was boundless. The massive Brilliant City trembled. The aura from the outer realm was extremely shocking. Zhu Jingtian had arrived. He had crossed the starry skies and arrived in Brilliant City. He was like a blood-colored demon god. His expression was cruel and cold, but he was pleasantly surprised. Their goal was to capture Su Yen, not open the Devil Fog Forbidden Zone. Now that he received news that Su Yen was still alive, Zhu Jingtian threw his head back and roared with laughter. The heavens are helping me. I thought I would return empty-handed. Who would have thought? Haha, Su Yen, oh Su Yen, you've really given me a great surprise. Zhu Jingtian is here. Back then, Su Yen was forced into the Devil Fog Forbidden Zone by Zhu Jingtian. Who would have thought that he'd come again? Su Yen is really unlucky. Yeah, he's been blocked by Zhu Jingtian twice in a row. I wonder who will be able to protect Su Yen this time. A storm gathered in Brilliant City. All the mighty rulers looked at Zhu Jingtian. Half a year ago, he was severely injured and almost killed by Star Element with the Divine King's weapon. But now Zhu Jingtian was here again. The war spear in his hand shone brightly. The brilliant light of the great Tao burned, illuminating heaven and earth. It was as if a huge mountain was lying here. The waves it emitted caused the mighty rulers of the older generation to feel a chill down their spines. Zhu Jingtian definitely had the battle prowess of a top-notch mighty ruler. As an expert at the peak of the great Tao realm and very young, he was also an important member of the Ancestral Hall. He was an expert who would wield great power in the future. Buzz. His eyes widened, shooting out the light of the great Tao. His gaze pierced through the layers of space and landed in the Cosmos Business Alliance. When Zhu Jingtian confirmed that it was Su Yen, a cold expression appeared on his face. He said, "Last time, you were lucky enough to escape. I'd like to see where you can run to this time. You've still ended up in my hands." "Who are you?" Bamboo Moon was exceptionally charming. She wore a long silver robe and stood tall between heaven and earth. She said coldly, "You dare to act recklessly in my Big Dipper star region and even target the disciples of my sect? How dare you? This is not the place for you to behave atrociously." Hearing this, Zhu Jingtian's gaze landed on Bamboo Moon. When he saw this graceful and noble woman, his heart skipped a beat. He laughed wantonly and said, "So it's Fairy Big Dipper. Beauty, don't be anxious. After I suppress Su Yen, we'll have a good chat about love and life." This sentence caused a huge commotion. Many experts who admired Fairy Big Dipper were enraged. Bamboo Moon was the Star Lord of the Big Dipper star region. She was a goddess that couldn't be profaned in their hearts. Now that Zhu Jingtian was humiliating Bamboo Moon like this, some people couldn't stand it anymore. However, they didn't dare to say anything. Since the Star Lord is here, there's no need to be anxious. Star Element and the others had also arrived. They heaved a sigh of relief. Su Yen had indeed come out alive. When Bamboo Moon came out of seclusion from the Big Dipper star region, Star Element and the others had already sensed her current strength. How could Zhu Jingtian be a match for Bamboo Moon? Boom! Zhu Jingtian didn't hesitate and instantly recovered. His entire body was suffused with blood-red light that descended from the sky and filled the entire firmament. He was extremely conceited and domineering. Even if the Star Lord of the Big Dipper was standing here, and Su Yen was a genius of the Big Dipper star region, Zhu Jingtian didn't fear anything. This was the Ancestral Hall, a famous overlord of the universe and a peak power. Boom! The whole of Alcade City shook and rumbled. Boundless killing intent rippled out. The spear in his hand glowed and rapidly enlarged. Heavenly scars of the great Tao curled around it like a giant mountain range in the sky. He rushed over, his body exuding a suffocating aura. The spear in his hand had already locked onto Su Yen, preventing him from escaping. "You're really arrogant. You want to capture my disciple right in front of me." Bamboo Moon was like a silver moon. The stars in the sky were brilliant and dazzling, and they seemed to be revolving around her. Thousands of strands of silver divine light had already descended, and it was as if the vast starry sky was descending with her. For a moment she was peerless in her generation, and her beauty reigned supreme in the starry sky. "What can you do to me? If we were in the outer starfields, you'd be nothing but prey in my eyes." Zhu Jingtian's words were tyrannical. He had already charged forward, squeezing Brilliant City until it was pitch black like ink. Everything was about to be destroyed. His battle spear had already been brandished, wanting to break Su Yan's legs. "Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." A cold glint flashed in Bamboo Moon's eyes. Her beautiful black hair fluttered in the wind. At this moment she was like a goddess of the starry sky. The Milky Way from the 9 heavens sprinkled down, and the pervasive energy ripples were boundless and terrifying. At this moment, the whole of Alcade City seemed to have disappeared, covered by a jade-like palm. This was an extremely terrifying technique. The vast starry sky was overturned and transformed into a palm. Boom! The huge palm covered the sky, and the sun, moon, and stars revolved in the palm as it furiously slammed toward Zhu Jingtian. Everyone turned pale. This technique was quite heaven-defying and domineering. They saw that Zhu Jingtian looked small in front of this palm. No matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't break free from the giant palm formed by the starry sky. It's just a minor technique, the starry sky palm, but in the hands of Fairy Bamboo Moon, it's like a heavenly secret technique. This is what it means to be strong. Chapter 362. A thunderous roar resounded throughout Brilliant City as the giant palm slammed down on the ground. The sound was so intense that the eardrums of the surrounding people were about to burst. Some even fell to the ground. Smoke and dust filled the sky. The giant palm was like a 5-fingered mountain, pressing down on the area. Strange phenomena appeared one after another. All sorts of great stars in the universe appeared, and the power of the galaxy flowed. All sorts of destructive light gushed out, and a world-shaking might that could shatter the heavens and split the seas howled out. The entire Brilliant City was silent. The rulers of the various races were dumbstruck. Some of the younger ones were especially dumbfounded. What was going on? Zhu Jingtian, who had charged over in an imposing manner and had even claimed to be his prey, had been slapped to the ground by Bamboo Moon. It was as if a cold wind had swept over, causing the silent Brilliance City to be in an uproar. The Brilliance Palace Master and the others all smiled bitterly. Bamboo Moon had broken through. It was definitely because Su Yen had brought back the Big Dipper scripture that Bamboo Moon had stepped into a brand new realm. She was now looking down on the world. How is this possible? Some people were shouting and roaring. Most of them were from the Shui family. What kind of terrifying method was this? Zhu Jingtian had been slapped to the ground by Bamboo Moon. It was as if she had slapped an ant to death. It was so easy and casual. They couldn't believe their eyes. How old was Bamboo Moon? Now that she had stepped into this realm, could it be that the Big Dipper lineage was about to flourish? If that was the case, then the Shui family's future dominance over the Big Dipper star field might not exist. Star Master! The elders of the Big Dipper lineage, who had rushed over all, shouted excitedly. The shocking slap was like an alarm bell, causing the various powers to gasp. They all looked toward the peerless fairy Big Dipper. She was truly terrifying. She had already risen to become a pinnacle powerhouse in the universe. She could even be called a god. Ah! A miserable howl exploded. It was a heart-wrenching sound that reverberated throughout Brilliance City. It was hair-raising. Zhu Jingtian was a pinnacle ruler of the universe, but now, he had been suppressed by Bamboo Moon with a single slap. When the giant hand dissipated and turned into starlight, a tragic figure was revealed. The bones in his body were broken, and his flesh was torn apart. His appearance was as miserable as it could be. It was completely different from the domineering appearance he had before. Zhu Jingtian glared at Zhu Yu and let out a beast-like roar. He was enraged to the extreme. He had almost been slapped to death by a woman. However, when the giant hand reassembled itself and appeared above Zhu Jingtian, it was as if it had been struck by lightning. Zhu Jingtian trembled. He no longer had the strength to resist. There was a trace of fear in his eyes, because he could feel the killing intent. This made Zhu Jingtian furious. Lord of the Big Dipper, if you kill me, the Ancestral Hall will definitely flatten the entire Big Dipper clan and wash the Big Dipper constellation with blood. The giant hand came down on Zhu Jingtian. He was terrified. He didn't know where he got the strength from, but he crawled to his feet and fled. Under the shocked gazes of the onlookers, the huge hand flicked its finger, sending out silver ripples that swept over Zhu Jingtian like a tidal wave from the highest heavens. "Oh my God!" someone exclaimed. Zhu Jingtian was sent flying by Bamboo Moon's finger. Some universe rulers saw Zhu Jingtian being sent flying into outer space. It was as if he had been exiled into the universe. They could feel the power of stellar transposition. "Killing you will only dirty my hands." Her cold voice reverberated throughout the area, causing the rulers of the various races to gasp. This was too ruthless. Zhu Yu had chosen not to kill Zhu Jingtian but to banish him to the cosmos. However, there was no way Zhu Jingtian could come back alive. His injuries were too severe. Zhu Jingtian couldn't withstand the power of the finger flick. Being exiled to the depths of the universe and waiting for death was more painful and despairing than death. Star Master is so domineering. Outsiders only know that Fairy 7 Star is the most beautiful person in the universe, but they don't know that she suppressed the 7 Hall Masters back then. Half a year ago, he had wanted to kill Zhu Jingtian. But in the end, a large number of powerhouses had come to the Ancestral Hall, leaving him with no choice but to watch helplessly. Now, Zhu Yu's strong move had stirred up many of the senior elders of the Big Dipper lineage. "Let's go." Bamboo Moon seemed to have sensed something. She wanted to take Su Yen away and head for the Big Dipper lineage. The entire Brilliance City was permeated with a suffocating air current, as if a cold wind was blowing. Even the entire Grand Middle Territory was emitting a thunderous sound, as if a terrifying existence was taking a step forward in the far distance. Every syllable was like a clap of thunder from the 9 heavens. That person had already appeared a little. He was very blurry, as if he was still in another star domain. However, with each step he took, a terrifying wave surged toward him. Hong Long. The entire Alcade city was about to collapse. Every inch of the void was wailing. Everything was about to turn into ashes. Large swathes of life exploded. This person was too tyrannical and had already charged over. His body was as deep as the sea and his essence blood flooded the sky. It was accompanied by dense primal chaos fluctuations that blotted out the sky. Could be said that this was the end of the universe. The entire Grand Middle Territory was about to be overturned. Bastard! Bamboo Moon's eyes released a murderous glint. With a swing of her sleeve, the heavenly winds blew and endless starlight sprinkled down from the cosmos. It formed a giant seal that suppressed the trembling Grand Middle Territory and stabilized Alcade City. Those who were about to be shaken to death roared in grief and indignation. They had almost died. This person was too tyrannical. If Fairy 7 Star hadn't taken action, Alcade City would have been filled with millions of corpses. Buzz. At the end of the horizon, a majestic figure filled the world. He wore a golden robe and his eyes were burning with golden flames. Although this person was old, his aura was quite astonishing. It was as if he was an immortal furnace standing at the end of the horizon. Zhu Liang. Zi Xioning's expression sank. She said in a low voice, "Be careful. This person's battle prowess isn't weak." Zhu Yu was too young right now. If she had a dozen more years, it would be hard to say. However, Zhu Liang was an old monster with a lifespan of 6,000 years. He was so powerful that it was suffocating. Hand him over to me and I'll pretend I didn't see what happened just now. Zhu Liang spoke. His voice was like thunder that resounded through the entire Alcade city. It contained a great pressure that made the hearts of all the cultivators present stifled. It was as if a giant mountain was pressing down on their hearts. You've crossed the line. This is not your ancestral palace's territory, Zhu Yu replied. Her aura climbed steadily, causing everyone present to tremble. It was as if they were looking at a goddess of war in the starry skies, suppressing the universe. She emitted the most dazzling brilliance, pushing away Zhu Liang's aura. I've already given you face. Since you don't want it, don't blame me for being ruthless. Zhu Liang's voice contained an iron-blooded killing intent. He would not show mercy to the remnants of the burial realm's bloodline. Boom! The entire world shook and rumbled as if countless bolts of lightning were striking down, causing the entire Grand Middle Territory to tremble. His aura was truly terrifying. He indifferently spoke to Su Yan. Number 5, there were 5 who escaped back then. After capturing you, there are only 4 left. Since number 5 has been found, the others won't be far away. This voice was like a knife that ruthlessly stabbed into Su Yan's heart. Zhu Liang was showing off his contributions. Su Yan was his prey. No matter what resistance there was, nothing could stop Zhu Liang's determination to capture Su Yan. After all, this was something the ancient ancestor wanted. It was too important to the ancestral palace. Of course, he didn't know what it was. Old bastard! Su Yan's blood boiled as his black hair danced in the wind. He furiously shouted, "Sooner or later I'll skin you alive!" Haha, young man, I admire your courage to say such words in front of me. Unfortunately, in my eyes, it's just stupid words. Having such a strong will to fight is not a good thing. Zhu Liang faced the sky and laughed, shaking the firmament. If you can leave this place alive, then don't say such useless words. The vast territory trembled as Zhu Liang's killing intent surged and sealed the entire Grand Middle Territory. He sneered. Big Dipper Fairy, don't show off your meager skills in front of me. You want to use stellar transposition to send Su Yan away? Do you think that's possible? You want to take Su Yan away in front of my eyes? Do you think that's possible? Bamboo Moon's aura became more and more shocking. She was like a goddess of the stars. She had a peerless elegance that intimidated the universe. It seemed that her aura could shake the entire Big Dipper star region. The Golden Dragon King and the others were very surprised. What kind of enmity did Su Yan have with the ancestral palace? I'll give you another warning. Don't cause trouble for the Big Dipper bloodline, Zhu Liang coldly said, otherwise you won't be able to bear the consequences. Don't waste your breath. Bamboo Moon's aura became infinitely terrifying. Her aura was simply too shocking. The heavens fell and the earth sank. Even the primal chaos collapsed. Countless stars in the universe fell from the sky. It was as if millions of stars were arranged in the Grand Middle Territory. Bamboo Moon erupted. She rushed from afar and pushed the power of the stars to kill Zhu Liang. I also want to see if the Big Dipper bloodline has made any progress in these years. Zhu Liang released his aura and tore through the starry sky. His golden robe fluttered in the wind. He let out a loud roar that shattered the sky. The endless stars in the universe that rushed towards him exploded. He was like an invincible divine king. He could evaporate the ocean and capture the sun. This was a terrifying collision. It was as if two worlds had collided here. Destructive light rushed into the sky. This was a battle between gods. It was as if two gods were fighting here. All kinds of destructive light flared up. The entire Grand Middle Territory seemed to be on the verge of sinking. Kill! Zhu Liang roared again. He didn't want to waste time and was worried about other unforeseen events. He was too powerful. A giant lion head appeared behind him. It was surrounded by chaotic light and spat out waves of golden ripples that engulfed the heavens and earth. The roar shattered the stars in the sky. He reached out a palm and chopped towards Bamboo Moon. However, this palm seemed to have struck an eternal and immortal time-space. The sound of scriptures appeared. It was grand and distant. It resounded through Alcade Planet and spread throughout the starry sky. For a moment, the great Tao in this starry sky was revived. Bamboo Moon was like the incarnation of the great Tao. Immortal chants were transmitted from her body. She actually drew upon the ancient source power of the Big Dipper star region, causing her aura to rise sharply. She seemed to be standing in an eternal starry sky. Her body was faintly discernible. Sometimes she would turn into the most powerful ancient star that could crush the universe. Big Dipper scripture. Zhu Liang's eyes immediately turned cold. Bamboo Moon cultivated the Big Dipper scripture. Her battle prowess was extraordinary. At this moment she was like a goddess of the Big Dipper star region looking down at the starry sky. You are still not enough. Chapter 363. The divine light was like an ocean as it surged and rushed into the sky, illuminating the starry sky in a dazzling manner. The battle in the Big Dipper star region was too shocking. The surrounding star regions all sensed it, especially the heavenly mystic sect. They immediately used a secret space-time treasure to penetrate the star regions. When they saw Zhu Yu standing on Alcade Planet, their faces paled. The Lord of Big Dipper has stepped into the realm of the gods. Unbelievable. She actually comprehended the primal chaos. This is unbelievable. That's Zhu Liang of the Ancestral Hall, and he's the Deputy Hall Master. The Lord of Big Dipper can actually exchange blows with him. I didn't expect the Big Dipper Sutra to be found and cultivated by the Lord of Big Dipper. Now that she's standing in the Big Dipper, even Zhu Liang can't easily suppress her. Could it be that the Lord of Big Dipper can't get the title of Big Dipper Supreme? This question made the older generation experts shake their heads. Once one comprehends the primal chaos, it's impossible to get the title of Supreme. Besides, with the Fairy of Big Dipper's achievements, the title won't help her much. She's already stepped into a terrifying realm, and her future is limitless. The battle on planet Alcade was extremely terrifying. The space-time treasures were blurry, and it was difficult to see clearly. However, the starry sky where they fought was riddled with holes. Broken stars drifted, and even the great Tao began to tremble. They all took out their weapons, and the moment they erupted, the battle became even more intense. This was just the beginning. This was a battle of gods, and they were all using life-risking moves. It was very likely that someone would die. Some people were surprised that the Big Dipper lineage's old ancestor hadn't come out. However, after thinking about it, they shook their heads. If the Big Dipper lineage's old ancestor came out, then the Big Dipper lineage would completely fall out with the ancestral hall. Su Yen, come with me. Star Element and the others all rushed over. They had already received Bamboo Moon's orders to let Su Yen take a teleportation formation and leave the Big Dipper star region. The stars revolved, and Star Element and the other elders of the Big Dipper lineage used their great abilities to change the starry sky. They had to leave planet Alcade first. Stay here. Zhu Liang was furious. If Su Yen went far away from Big Dipper star region, it would be very difficult to find him again. He raised his palm and stretched it out, piercing through the great universe and covering the starry sky. He wanted to stop Star Element and the others and suppress Su Yen and take him away. However, Bamboo Moon's battle prowess made his heart burn with anger. The sky was filled with the sound of chanting, and the vast region was covered. The Bamboo Moon had opened up a unique star domain. This was her territory, and she was like a silver moon hanging high in the sky. No matter how majestic this hand was, it was very difficult to break through the time of this star domain. This was the power of the Big Dipper scripture. The Bamboo Moon seemed to have evolved a condensed Big Dipper star domain, drawing on the power of the ancient star domain's origin. Her combat strength was terrifying to the extreme. Chi. Bamboo Moon was like a flying immortal from beyond the heavens. Her snow-white body rippled with moonlight. She held a silver sword core and gently slashed out, drawing out a crescent sword scar. The moment it was released, it rapidly enlarged, as if it could slice apart a world. Bastard, if your Big Dipper star domain dares to ruin my plans, I won't let you off easily. Zhu Liang brought out the golden sword core and slashed out furiously. The moment the two great killing swords clashed, they both shone. All kinds of killing lights overflowed from their bodies, interweaving together and creating a vacuum zone. The moment the two great experts clashed intensely, someone in Alcade City trembled. They saw a black mass in the outer realm's starry sky. It was an extremely huge battleship that crossed the universe and came over. It lay in the sky above Alcade Planet like a black continent. This battleship was too terrifying. It was suffused with the waves of ancient time. Countless great Tao heavenly marks were engraved on the battleship. This was definitely a supreme treasure, a battleship that could cross the universe's star domains. Not good. Star Element's expression was ugly. The battleship's door had already opened, and experts from the ancestral hall rushed out. These were all people under Zhu Liang's command. 5 great Tao realm experts descended from the sky, and over 10 quasi-Tao realm cultivators also rushed out. We found another vile spawn. Kiki, your Big Dipper star domain is really daring. You dare to block the ancestral hall's footsteps? I think you guys have been holed up here for too long. You don't know what the world has become. Why are you wasting words with them? Whoever dares to block the path of our ancestral hall will be killed directly. Just the 5 great Tao realm experts alone were strong enough. They were all experts of the older generation and had experienced hundreds of battles. Their statuses in the ancestral hall were very high. They were also the 5 great generals under Zhu Liang and were in charge of encircling the remnant soldiers of the burial region. When they rushed over, the power of great Tao that permeated the starry sky covered, blocking the path of Star Element and the others. You guys are going too far. Kill them. Star Element let out a furious roar. They rushed up and brought out their great killing weapons. Their eyes were filled with fury. This was the Big Dipper star domain after all. However, the ancestral hall acted without restraint, causing them to be furious. Su Yen probably won't be able to escape. More and more people from the Ancestral Hall will definitely come. The Ancestral Hall has more than one Deputy Hall Master. I don't think the old ancestor of the Big Dipper star domain is prepared to interfere. In order to protect Su Yen, the Big Dipper star domain probably won't bring out the clan's foundation and fight to the death with the Ancestral Hall. The spectators were discussing. This battle was too intense. In the battle in outer space, near the battleship, a group of experts took the lead to kill each other. The flames of war had already been ignited. The sky was filled with killing intent. The people of the Ancestral Hall seemed to have gone crazy. They wanted to charge over and kill Su Yen. Vile spawn, you can't escape. Come over obediently. Don't think that the Big Dipper star domain can protect you for long. There were a few Ancestral Palace younger generation members, all of them Zhu Liang's descendants. Their auras were extremely powerful, possessing half-Dao realm strength. They released cold and cruel voices, fighting against the Big Dipper bloodline's older generation experts. They angrily berated, "A group of old farts, I want to see just how long you all can last. Su Yen, hurry up and leave. Go to the Big Dipper star domain and hide in the Big Dipper star pagoda." Star Element's voice was very urgent. He was really worried that other experts from the Ancestral Hall would come. If that happened, they wouldn't be able to stop them at all. Su Yen clenched his fist. Under the shocked gazes of all around, he actually walked toward the battlefield. What is he trying to do? Some people were stunned. In this kind of battlefield, Dharma Plane cultivators were nothing but ashes. Even the young overlords were no exception. Su Yen, hurry up and leave. Xiaowen roared, taking out a killer weapon to delay the two overlords of the universe. Number 5, you can't escape. Since you've revealed your true body, there's no way for you to survive. In the hands of the Ancestral Hall, there's no vile spawn who's revealed their true body that can survive from our hands. A young man said cruelly, naming Su Yen number 5. A wisp of angry blood burned. Su Yen was furious. His body released a biting cold, killing light, and blazing essence blood rolled over and over. He rushed forward, his aura instantly becoming terrifying. He activated the Tyrant Body Art. His entire body was filled with an extremely powerful and domineering aura. He was like a golden god of war striding over. Kill! Su Yen roared at the sky. His blood boiled and burned. He was like an iron-blooded warrior, surging with monstrous, killing intent. The murderous aura that rushed toward him made Zhu Jingyan shiver. He didn't feel like he was facing number 5 anymore. Instead, he felt like a terrifying dragon had come out of its cage. His scalp was about to explode, and he felt a sense of impending doom. Kill! Su Yen was overflowing with anger. He waved his fist, and his killing aura collapsed the sky. That punch was like a sun rising in the sky, illuminating the sky with dazzling golden light. Boom! The unstoppable punch was iron-blooded and domineering. It gathered the power of space and rippled with all kinds of energy, as if the sun was burning there. Such a fist aura contained the source of energy that could evaporate rivers and seas. That was the solar fist. Now, it was unparalleled in Su Yan's hands. Coupled with his unparalleled body, it exploded Zhu Jingyun's chest and shattered his bones. Even his blood and qi were evaporated by Su Yan's fist aura. Zhu Jingyun shouted in fear. He was aging. That was the solar fist. Once hit, his life would be evaporated. Bang! Su Yen descended from the sky and stomped Zhu Jingyun to death. His eyes were full of killing intent as he rushed into the battlefield. How can this vile spawn have such strength? He hasn't stepped into the quasi-Dao realm yet. Star Element and the other 5 great Dao realm experts who were trying their best to stop Su Yen were furious. At this moment, Su Yen was like an overlord of the younger generation. His hair danced in the wind as he charged into the battlefield. His moves were grand, and every strike contained the power to suppress the world. Boom! Su Yan's fist aura overflowed into the sky. It was as if the sun was rotating in the sky. Punch after punch, each fist contained the power to burn mountains and boil seas. Pu, a quasi-Dao realm cultivator of the older generation, was sent flying. His head was chopped off by Su Yan's blood-colored halberd. Then, he charged into another battlefield like a true dragon. He clenched the solar fist with his left hand and the Big Dipper fist with his right hand. Two near-invincible secret techniques were released here. All kinds of killing intent surged, and a third quasi-Dao realm cultivator was killed on the spot. Is this still Su Yan? After not seeing him for half a year, he can even kill a quasi-Dao realm cultivator. The various experts who were watching the battle in Brilliant City were shocked. Some didn't dare to believe this scene. In particular, the people from the Shui family were furious. How could Su Yan have such combat strength? They even saw Su Yan throw out one killing array after another. He used the secret techniques of the mystical sect to revive these killing arrays. Su Yan's combat strength increased tremendously. He was like a divine king who was bathed in blood. He waved his fists here, beating up Zhu Liang's descendants until their blood flowed in the sky. In Brilliant City, the group of cultivators who were watching the battle were dumbfounded. Those were high and mighty quasi-Dao realm cultivators, but now 6 of them had been killed by Su Yan. He used the essence of the Big Dipper ancestral bloodline to continue his combat strength. Time and time again, he killed a group of Zhu Liang's descendants. Su Yan, I admit that you're very strong. Suddenly, wisps of terrifying aura surged out, suppressing this shattered starry sky. Chapter 364. Su Yan was covered in blood. He carried the blood-colored halberd and was covered in wounds. However, his terrifying ferocious aura suppressed the experts watching the battle. Just now, Su Yan was like an overlord of the younger generation, killing batch after batch of knights from the ancestral hall. However, Han Jin had come. After all, he was a universe master, and he was even a pinnacle universe star lord. His combat power was similar to Zhu Jingtian's. Even if Su Yan could kill the strongest universe master among quasi-Dao realms, to kill a pinnacle great Dao realm master? This was basically impossible. No one could do it. Everyone under the great Dao was an ant. This wasn't empty talk. Even the weakest great Dao realm expert wasn't someone Su Yan could shake. What's going on? Why is Han Jin interfering? Doesn't he know that the Big Dipper Star Lord has broken through? This old fellow, he can't be crazy, right? Why is he targeting Su Yan? Doesn't he know that His Highness Daozu is humiliating the entire Big Dipper lineage? The cultivators watching the battle in Alcade City were all terrified. Han Jin's actions were equivalent to betraying the Big Dipper lineage. Even Palace Master Alcade and the others couldn't make a move at this time, but Han Jin had. Han Jin, what are you trying to do? Star Element's face was ashen. He said in a sorrowful and indignant voice, "Look at the situation now. Can't you put aside your personal grudges for now and deal with the enemy before you first?" Hearing this, Han Jin appeared very calm. Majestic energy surged in his body and gushed out, sealing the starry sky inside and out to ensure that Su Yan couldn't escape from his grasp. Haha, what personal grudges? Su Yan killed my disciple. He should be executed, Han Jin said coldly. However, not only did Su Yan not be executed, but you all are helping this evil creature. The sect is unfair to me. I'll leave the Big Dipper lineage and join the ancestral hall. He said he wants to leave the Big Dipper lineage? Everyone who heard this was dumbfounded. Withdraw from the Big Dipper lineage? One had to know that he was Han Jin, a Grand Elder of the Big Dipper clan. With his high status, he was proficient in all sorts of Big Dipper clan's ultimate techniques and inherited secret techniques. If he really left the Big Dipper clan, then the various inheritances of the Big Dipper clan would be leaked and obtained by the ancestral hall. You're too despicable. Bamboo Moon was so angry that her entire body trembled. She gritted her teeth and waved her slender jade-like hand, wanting to kill Han Jin directly. Ha ha, Lord of the Big Dipper, you're an expert after all. You think you can attack my subordinates? How rude. Zhu Liang laughed heartily, feeling very pleased with himself. Although he was currently trapped by the Bamboo Moon, the moment the Bamboo Moon relaxed, the seal she created would no longer be able to trap Zhu Liang. Now, neither of them could interfere with other matters. You called me despicable? Han Jin laughed angrily. Little Star Lord, you've indulged Su Yen time and time again. He's caused so much trouble. It's fine if you don't punish him, but now you're shielding Su Yen. If this scourge isn't eliminated, I, Han Jin, will immediately leave the sect. I'll tell you the truth. If the sect has him, it's either me or him. Han Jin roared hysterically. You should be clear about your choice. Even if I leave the sect, I'll still kill Su Yen and do one last thing for the Big Dipper clan. Looking at the righteous Han Jin, Star Element and the others were enraged. It was clearly Han Tong who wanted to kill Su Yen time and time again. Moreover, they knew that Han Jin had to leave. In the past, he had always opposed Bamboo Moon and made things difficult for her. Now that Bamboo Moon had taken this step, Han Jin was a little frightened. He felt that if he didn't leave the sect, what awaited him wouldn't be a good ending. Therefore, he was prepared to strike first to gain the upper hand. It was better to make a great contribution and obtain a high position in the ancestral hall. Then get lost. The further the better. Bamboo Moon's voice was cold. She didn't believe that if Han Tong really rebelled, the Big Dipper clan's old ancestor would be able to sit still. After all, Han Tong had mastered most of the Big Dipper clan's inherited secret technique. Once he joined the ancestral hall, the Big Dipper clan would definitely suffer a great loss. Alright, this is your choice. Everyone, take a look. Han Jin's old face was ferocious. He roared angrily. In order to protect Su Yen, you've expelled me from the sect. Then don't blame me for being merciless and crippling Su Yen. Old thing, you've always wanted to kill me. Who are you talking to now? Su Yen sneered. I'm right here. You can kill me or cut me up as you wish. But you must have the ability to do so. You evil creature. If it wasn't for you, how could I have fallen to this point? Terrifying fury appeared in Han Jin's eyes. He stared at Su Yen and said ferociously, I won't kill you so easily. I'll destroy your physical body, imprison your primordial spirit, and send it to Lord Zhu Liang. Boom! His palm pressed down furiously as he roared, I'll let you live in purgatory for the rest of your life. Old thing, stop. Xiaowen pounced over and took out a divine Dao weapon. This was a long saber that released snow-white saber light. It was released one after another, sweeping across Han Jin's back. Xiaowen, you're too young. You still want to fight with me? You can't do it. Scram to the side. A hint of disdain flashed in Han Jin's eyes. He flipped his palm and slashed out furiously, crushing the saber light that filled the sky. He then charged toward Xiaowen with destructive ripples. Old thing, you've really lost your mind. Have you been living like a dog all these years? Xiaowen let out a furious roar. After all, he had just stepped into the great Dao realm a few months ago. How could he possibly be an expert of the same domain as Han Jin? He was suppressed the moment they exchanged blows. It was very difficult for him to stop Han Jin. The sky was filled with the light of great Dao clashing. It was obvious who was stronger and who was weaker. Xiaowen was suppressed. Han Jin raised his palm very decisively and slammed it down on Xiaowen's chest. The impact caused Xiaowen's entire body to tremble as he was sent flying fiercely. Han Jin, you old thing! Star Element and a Grand Elder were extremely furious. They hadn't expected that such a variable would appear. Even the palace masters of the 7 palace halls didn't interfere. They were all great Dao realm experts. Han Jin had probably secretly informed these people. They wanted to kill Su Yen too much. After all, the Mizar Palace Master and the others all felt sorry for Su Yen. If Su Yen really rose up in the future, they were worried that Su Yen would take revenge on them. Therefore, they chose to remain silent and didn't help. After all, the old ancestor didn't step out either. This meant that the old ancestor wasn't willing to offend the ancestral palace. The reason for this was that Su Yen didn't have any records or experiences in the Big Dipper lineage. The old ancestor was also very suspicious of Su Yan's identity. Kill. At this moment, the 5 great experts under Zhu Liang's command counterattacked. Having lost Xiao Wen's power, Star Element and the other 2 experts staggered back. Their blockade was broken through. Ha ha, Han Jin, you've done well. When we return to the ancestral palace, I'll personally take credit for you. The treatment you'll receive will definitely be over 10 times better than what you received in the Big Dipper lineage. That's right. You've captured Su Yen alive. This is a great contribution. The old ancestor might come out of seclusion to receive you personally. In any case, the future is bright. Zhu Liang's 5 subordinates, the 5 great Dao realm experts, laughed heartily. They had already charged over. Their speed was very fast, surpassing Star Element and the other 2 as they closed in on Han Jin. Hee hee, number 5, long time no see. I wonder if you still remember me now. An old man in black armor smiled cruelly. I've been looking for you for a long time. Number 5, come back to the ancestral palace with me obediently. That's where you belong. Don't worry. We won't kill you easily. You're still very useful to us. V. How many accomplices do you have? If you can tell us, we'll naturally reward you handsomely. In fact, you can even live on and become a warrior of our ancestral palace. You can search for other vile spawns for our ancestral palace. In the future, when we let you out, there's still hope for you to be conferred the title of king. These 5 old experts under Zhu Liang's command exuded a very terrifying bloody aura. During these years, they had killed many members of the bloodline of the burial region. They were like 5 ruthless old assassins that wandered through the major star areas to hunt down the remnants of the bloodline of the burial region. Now that they saw Su Yen, it was as if they had seen a pile of gold. Their eyes lit up. After all, the ancient ancestor had passed down a message. For every one of the 5 people who were still alive, the reward would be extremely generous. Even great Dao realm cultivators would be envious. In fact, they even felt that number 5 might be their ultimate target. After all, back then, Su Yen had been escorted by a group of burial region experts. From the moment he entered the star tomb, he had been missing. No clues could be found. You old B*****stards. Su Yen was unafraid. He looked up to the sky and laughed loudly. Aren't you afraid of retribution and ending your bloodline? Han Jin and the other 5 experts had sinister expressions. One of them sneered and said, Su Yen, it seems like you've already chosen the path of death. I'll let you know that there are some things even more terrifying than death in my hand. I'll make you beg for death. What's going on? The spectators in Brilliant City were a little surprised. This was because from the moment the 6 experts charged toward Su Yen, Star Element and the others had started to rapidly retreat. What did this mean? Could it be that they were also prepared to give up on Su Yen? Something's not right. Hurry up and attack. Han Jin realized that Star Element and the others had actually left. His heart thumped. He was afraid that he would miss out on a great achievement. He directly raised his palm and slashed toward Su Yen. There's no need to worry too much. He's already in my hands. How can he escape? The 5 experts were extremely disdainful. However, Su Yan's calm appearance really made their hair stand on end. Could it be that he still had some trump card? But could it be that he could threaten great Dao realm cultivators? Kill. The 6 experts instantly recovered. This part of the starry sky was covered by the aura of the great Dao. Su Yen, who was inside, felt as if his body and mind were about to break apart. All of you, go to hell. A terrifying and ominous glint flashed in Su Yan's eyes. There was a hint of savagery on his face, and his entire body exuded the wrath of the heavens. Something's not right. The expressions of the 6 experts suddenly changed drastically. A wisp of aura was awakening on Su Yan's body. It was very terrifying. The moment it drilled out, their divine souls trembled violently, and their limbs turned cold. It was as if they had fallen into a purgatory. Roar. In an instant, a loud roar exploded. The sound of a dragon's roar rolled out like the sea. It was like a huge mushroom cloud that swept out in all directions. That terrifying light and resplendent golden light swept through the entire Big Dipper constellation. Kill! Su Yan roared and waved his fist. A true dragon drilled out and coiled around Su Yan's fist. When this punch was thrown out, even the sky exploded. The area within a radius of 100,000 miles evaporated into a terrifying huge black hole. Rumble! The unparalleled dragon fist was peerlessly terrifying. It could evaporate rivers and seas, and even the sun was annihilated. Everything trembled. Chapter 365. I can't see anything. The grand middle region trembled. This was endless divine light descending from the sky. It was as if a sun had exploded in the sky, scattering down endless divine light that pierced through gold and cracked rocks. It shattered mountain ranges and swept across the grand middle region. Even in the sky, stars fell. The sun shattered, and they fell uniformly like a beautiful meteor shower descending from the sky. The scene was enough to shock the world. For a time, the entire brilliant city seemed to have experienced an apocalypse. All the living beings looked up at the sky. The starry sky in the outer realm had evaporated into a huge black hole. The temperature of the dragon fist was too blazing. It was a peerless and invincible fist technique that had awakened here. Su Yan was like a peerless divine king, piercing through the universe's starry sea. This is his trump card. Little man, you have really shocked me. Zi Xioning's jade-like hand covered her sexy red lip. Her limpid eyes stared at the scene in the outer realm. It was like the scene of the universe being destroyed. It devoured 6 great Tao realm cultivators, causing them to tremble as their bodies began to be destroyed. This scene caused everyone to tremble in fear, and a chill ran down their spines. They were all great Tao realm experts, but now they were being destroyed on their own. What if they were in the same situation? If this punch had been unleashed in Brilliant City, how many people would have died? Zhu Liang's 5 subordinates trembled from their souls. They were terrified to the point of despair. They were waiting for death. Every breath was as long as 1,000 years. B***** stop. Zhu Liang let out a furious roar. A total of 5 great Tao realm experts' bodies shattered one after another. Even their souls were evaporated. There was no hope for them to survive. Such means and such a supreme treasure. It was simply a forbidden weapon belonging to the divine king that had awakened here. This was the power of the dragon fist. Su Yan didn't know how strong it was. It was like the dragon soul that protected Su Yan. This was also its second eruption. Su Yan didn't expect it to be so strong. Originally, he wanted to use the dragon fist to carve out a bloody path and cross to the Big Dipper star region. But in the end, the dragon fist's power shocked him. The 5 great Tao realm experts were destroyed one after another, exploding. This was too terrifying. How domineering was this fist technique? The Divine King's forbidden weapon. It must be the Divine King's forbidden weapon. The Golden Dragon King's heart trembled. Oh my God, no wonder Su Yan asked us to retreat first. I didn't expect him to have such a terrifying forbidden weapon. Xiaowen was so frightened that his face turned pale. This was too terrifying. It was as if the divine king of the dragon race was enraged here, his roar shattering the universe and shaking the entire Big Dipper star region. It was as if someone saw the aura of this true dragon drowning the entire Big Dipper star region. How terrifying and peerless was this! He was simply the invincible divine king of the world. Clang! Clang! But what was unexpected was that Han Jin actually survived. Although half of his body had been shattered, at the critical moment, the dragon totem had touched the godly monarch weapon in his body. The moment the divine furnace flew out, it had suppressed Han Jin. Han Jin, you old B***starred. Don't tell me you still want to steal our race's divine king's weapon? Star Element, who was far away, was so angry that he stomped his feet and cursed. This was the divine king's weapon of the Big Dipper lineage. He didn't expect Han Jin to take it away. If he really defected, then the divine king's weapon would definitely be stolen by him. After all, it was the divine king's weapon. At the crucial moment, it protected Han Jin's life spring, preventing him from turning into ashes along with the 5 great Dao realm cultivators. However, he didn't feel good either. He coughed up large mouthfuls of blood and let out shrill cries. Half of his body was destroyed, and he was trembling in pain. However, Han Jin didn't dare to stay here for a moment longer. He turned around and ran, never wanting to return. You want to run? Su Yan's chest heaved up and down. His eyes were like lightning as he looked at Han Jin. He directly raised his blood-colored halberd and charged forward. Little bastard, you still want to kill me? You deceitful bastard! Han Tong turned his body around, looking miserable beyond recognition. However, he still brought out the divine king's weapon and smashed it towards Su Yan. However, the moment the divine king's weapon was brought out, it flew away with a buzz. It was like a shooting star, landing in Bamboo Moon's hands. Bamboo Moon had awakened the divine king's weapon. The waves of energy that could evaporate the heavens and boil the seas made Zhu Liang feel a sense of danger. With such a divine king's weapon in hand, it was like a tiger that had grown wings. Zhu Liang was very wary of it. He passively defended himself to prevent himself from being injured by the shockwaves from the divine king's weapon. Hand over your life. Su Yan swooped down. The blood-colored halberd cut through the air and came crashing down. Han Jin let out a miserable cry. His injuries were too severe. Even with the stellar transposition secret technique, he only managed to shift a very short distance. Yet, his arm was chopped off by Su Yan. You can't kill me. Sooner or later, I will grind your bones to dust. Han Jin let out a low roar of grief. He rushed towards Alcade Planet, preparing to open up the Alcade Palace's foundation and take the opportunity to escape Big Dipper. If Han Jin really dares to come, kill him. Alcade Palace Master's eyes flashed with a cold intent. Once he betrays my Big Dipper bloodline, my clan's inheritance will be incomplete. We cannot allow him to leave Alcade Planet alive. As you command. The powerhouse overseeing Alcade Palace nodded. Although they wanted to establish their own clan, they definitely wouldn't do such a crazy thing. After all, the Big Dipper bloodline was the result of their ancestors' endless blood, sweat, and tears. Old bastard, you won't be able to escape. Seeing Han Jin rush towards Alcade City, Su Yan's eyes were filled with killing intent. He used spatial contraction to cross a vast territory, crossing 1,000 miles of space and time. When he appeared once more, Brilliance City trembled. Su Yan descended from the sky, wearing the astral battle armor. Under the state of the tyrant body art, his entire body emitted a terrifying energy fluctuation. He forced his way towards Han Jin's back and raised his palm to slap him. PFFF. Han Jin staggered and fell to the ground. He was like a dead dog as he let out a low and sinister roar. Han Jin was in great pain. Su Yan had already walked over. He was as cold as a demon god. He stepped on Han Jin's chest, causing Han Jin to cough up blood. He roared ferociously, Su Yan, if you dare to kill me, my clan's ancestor will never let you off. You have targeted me time and time again. Today you won't live. Su Yen shouted angrily. He stepped on Han Jin's chest and punched him. Han Jin felt as if he had fallen into an ice cave. His eyes were filled with fear as he lost control and said, "No! Stop it!" Han Jin roared crazily. Die in Su Yen's hands? He couldn't accept it. Die! Su Yen bellowed furiously. His eyes were filled with coldness as he punched down fiercely on Han Jin's head. This wasn't just a single punch. Su Yen punched down consecutively. He punched a total of 3 times, causing Han Jin's head to explode and his primordial spirit to explode. Han Jin's physical body was then kicked into the sky and smashed into pieces with the blood-colored great halberd. Blood rained down from the sky. A blood-stained figure stood in Alcade City, exuding overwhelming divine might. Gasps rang out from all directions. Everyone who saw this scene was stunned. That was Han Jin, the Grand Elder of the Big Dipper lineage. However, he had been killed by Su Yen with a single punch. The doyens of the Big Dipper lineage heaved a sigh of relief. They were really afraid that Han Jin would escape. 6 great Dao realm experts were all killed by him. After this battle ends, if Su Yen is still alive, the entire universe will be in an uproar. He has killed a total of 6 great Dao realm experts. This is a miracle. Although he has the Divine King's treasures, he still succeeded in killing 6 great Dao realm experts. Some people's words were filled with disbelief. How powerful were great Dao realm experts? One of them could support an entire clan. However, a total of 6 of them had died today, and 5 of them were even the 5 great experts of the Ancestral Hall. Some people felt that this matter had already pierced through the heavens. Even if Su Yen had died, this battle achievement was enough to be passed down through the ages. Bang! A vast aura spread out. The divine furnace in Bamboo Moon's hands spewed out light, burning the divine power in the sky into powder. Even the primal chaos was evaporated. This was the Divine King's weapon. Now, it was in Bamboo Moon's hands, and she was attacking forward. Be *****. Zhu Liang coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. His hair was disheveled, and his eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. It was very difficult for him to block the Divine King's weapon. The main reason was that Bamboo Moon was too strong. Otherwise, Zhu Liang wouldn't have suffered such a great loss. Quickly look! Many people cried out in surprise. They saw a black mass at the end of the universe. Many huge battleships were crossing over. They were stronger than the battleships that had just arrived. In fact, a terrifying torrent rushed out from the battleship. The moment it was transmitted, the surrounding starry sky distorted. This was definitely an expert who was even more astonishing than Zhu Liang. Su Yen, quickly leave with me. Star Element hurried over. If he returned to the Big Dipper star region now, there was still a glimmer of hope. However, Su Yen shook his head. He left, holding the blood-colored halberd. He took one last look at Bamboo Moon, clenched his fists, and disappeared into the void with a few quick steps. Bamboo Moon, I'm leaving. If I can come back alive, I'll definitely come back to look for you. Take care of yourself and expel me from the sect. Su Yen didn't want to implicate the Big Dipper lineage. The Ancestral Hall was too strong. Although Bamboo Moon could block Zhu Liang now, there was 1 more, 2, or even 3 more. Su Yen didn't believe that the current Bamboo Moon was as strong as Grandpa Bamboo Moon back in the day. Therefore, he had to leave. Otherwise, he would implicate Bamboo Moon and the Big Dipper lineage. Can I cross to the Big Dipper? Su Yen muttered in his heart. His speed was too fast. He had already rushed out of Alcade City. He suddenly thought of a place, the Savage Mountain of the southern region. Just as Su Yen was crossing, he felt a trace of spatial fluctuation. Just as he was about to block it, a familiar aura surged over. Follow me. Song Yun strangely appeared in the space where Su Yen was. His entire body was filled with spatial profound fluctuations. He swept Su Yen and instantly crossed the space. His speed was several times faster than Su Yan's. You can't protect me. There's no need for you to get involved. Su Yan looked at the dignified Zixuning. His eyes were filled with gratitude and complicated emotions. Hearing this, the corners of Zixuning's mouth curled up. She revealed a charming smile and said, "Don't worry. They won't be able to find this place in a short time. I also don't have the ability to send you to another star region in a short time. However, I feel that you have a way to leave." Su Yan was silent. Go to the Savage Mountain? He hesitated. Once it was breached, his life would be in danger. He felt that he should leave the Big Dipper star region and avoid this dangerous place. He was too weak and didn't have the strength to survive. You want to go to the Big Dipper? Song Yun was surprised, but he didn't ask much. He quickly brought Su Yan to the Savage Mountain. The Savage Mountain was very close to here. He was confident that he could bring Su Yan to the Savage Mountain without being detected by the Ancestral Hall's experts. "Young mistress, you can't follow me anymore. If you encounter danger, you'll be in trouble." Song Yun directly teleported Zixuning out and brought Su Yan along alone. "Did you ask for my permission?" Zixuning almost fell into a pool. Her face darkened as she steadied herself. She looked in the direction Su Yan left and muttered to herself, "You killed 6 great Tao realm cultivators at the Transcendence realm. I really look forward to the day when great Tao realm experts crawl and tremble under your feet." Chapter 366. Has the Ancestral Hall gone mad? Just to kill Su Yan, they've mobilized so many troops to the Big Dipper starfield. Aren't they afraid of causing a starfield war? The entire Big Dipper starfield was rippling with all sorts of destructive auras. Even the surrounding great powers were dumbfounded. They all thought the Ancestral Hall was attacking the Big Dipper starfield because battleships after battleships crossed the starfield and arrived. There were more than a dozen battleships, and each one was like a star. They were engraved with profound heavenly marks of the great Tao and emitted the aura of space profundity. They crossed time and space, and the space Tao diagrams engraved on the battleships glowed as they traveled at an astonishing speed. The battleships came from all directions of the Big Dipper starfield and stopped in all directions of Alcade Planet. The airflow they emitted made the billions of beings on Alcade Planet tremble in fear. Boom! Killing intent surged into the sky as the doors of the battleships opened. Heavy footsteps could be heard as though there were 100,000 mountains lining up. These were troops after troops of soldiers. They wore battle armor and carried iron spears, as if they were elite soldiers that had rushed out from hell. Every single one of them possessed terrifying auras. When they fully recovered, their auras merged into one, and it was as if a vast ocean was roaring. An army of 10,000. Some people felt their hair stand on end. This was a huge move. The Ancestral Hall was simply going to conquer the Big Dipper starfield by mobilizing 100,000 troops. They were like a group of gods and demons roaring as they took out a huge flag. The flag fluttered loudly as killing intent surged. The entire Alcade Planet was covered by a terrifying light. This was the sound of killing, the momentum of a huge army galloping forward. Of course, there were also great beings from the Ancestral Hall walking out. Each of them was like the abyss of the great Tao and unimaginably powerful. They were the leaders of the army, and they carried killing swords as they looked down on the entire Alcade Planet. There were also great beings with auras stronger than Zuliang who were recovering. Vast amounts of essence blood flooded the great universe and filled the sky above Alcade Planet. It was about to radiate out and sweep across the entire Big Dipper starfield. What are they trying to do? In Alcade City, the various universe masters who had gathered all turned pale. Were they saying the Ancestral Hall was trying to capture Su Yan? They found it hard to believe. They all thought the Ancestral Hall was going to conquer the Big Dipper starfield, the once most powerful ancient planet. Boom! A terrifying large hand stretched down from outer space. Bloody light rushed into the heavens, and the stars in the sky began to tremble. This large hand directly pressed down to suppress the Bamboo Moon. Zhu Liang was in dire straits right now. Bamboo Moon's fighting prowess was already extraordinary, and now she was wielding the Divine King's weapon. Zhu Liang was forced to retreat again and again, and his vast essence blood was being refined, causing him to be weakened. Now, another terrifying existence from the Ancestral Hall took action, joining forces to suppress Bamboo Moon. Ancestral Hall, you've crossed the line. An icy voice pierced through the sky and spread throughout the entire Big Dipper constellation. For a time, the ancestral grounds of the Big Dipper clan surged with layer after layer of ancient light that illuminated the starry sky. The brilliance was too resplendent. Many creatures saw that this was the Big Dipper bloodline's ancestral land. Within the surging sea of clouds, figures with powerful auras rose one after another. There were definitely more than 10 powerful old antiques. There were even old ancestors of the Big Dipper bloodline erupting with their auras. Although their chi and blood were in decline, the moment they awakened, their brilliance illuminated the cosmos and caused countless stars to tremble. So this is the Big Dipper bloodline's foundation. Everyone was astonished as over 10 old monsters walked out from the seal. Their eyes were cold. This was the Big Dipper constellation, their ancestral land that had originated from millions of years ago. But now, a large number of experts from the Ancestral Hall had attacked in such an unbridled manner that they had thoroughly infuriated the Big Dipper bloodline. Some of the slumbering elders woke up one after another and began to call for their comrades. There was no doubt that the Big Dipper bloodline would send out a few more old ancestors. If you don't hand over Su Yen, this matter won't end peacefully. Zhu Liang replied with an angry roar that spread throughout the entire Big Dipper constellation. Kill! The experts from the Ancestral Hall neighed loudly. They had awakened and all kinds of energy ripples swept out in a uniform manner. The scene was too spectacular and seemed to cover the entire Alcade planet. Buzz! A withered palm stretched out, tearing apart the great cosmos and shaking the boundless sea of stars. All kinds of energy that rushed toward Bamboo Moon were forcibly dispersed by this palm. Like an immortal hand, chaotic beams of light rippled out on their own and rushed into the sky. It was as if a cosmic storm had swept out, causing the starry skies to collapse and the sun and moon to fall. The center of the withered palm was like a primal chaos universe. Numerous great primal chaos stars floated out and rumbled, shaking the 9 heavens. The tens of thousands of elite soldiers from the Ancestral Hall felt a chill run down their spines. They were about to be smashed into pieces by this palm. However, a palm stretched out from a battleship and similarly possessed world-shaking power. Too frightening! The entire Big Dipper constellation was overflowing with resplendent light. Anyone could see that 2 large hands had appeared in outer space and surged with chaotic beams of light. Once they collided, boundless killing intent would be born and the people would be plunged into misery and suffering. Are you sure you want to fight? A vague yet majestic figure walked out from the battleship. It was as if he was standing at the end of the universe and looking down at the Big Dipper constellation. He said coldly, "Aren't you afraid of sinking the Big Dipper constellation?" Dong dong. A withered old man appeared in the ancestral land of the Big Dipper lineage. He took a step forward and appeared on the Alcade planet. Although his body was a bit short, everyone could sense a peerless aura similar to that of the Divine King. Old Star Lord, Star Element and the others were frantic with excitement. This was the Star Lord of the Big Dipper lineage from 2 generations ago. He was also once the supreme of the Big Dipper constellation. Back then, he had slaughtered his way through the great starry seas and contended for hegemony. Although he was very old now, he was still quite old. Although he had lived for 10,000 years, his combat strength was still world-shaking. A peak expert who had lived for 10,000 years was definitely a living fossil. Although his vitality had declined to the extreme, he could still erupt with peak combat strength and kill powerful enemies. So many people have come just to kill a junior? The short old Star Lord mocked. This old man doesn't believe your ancestral hall only has this goal. Although my Big Dipper lineage has declined, we're not to be trampled on by anyone. How much combat strength do you have left? How much more can your Big Dipper lineage bring out? The great figure from the ancestral hall coldly said, I only want to take Su Yen away. Let me give you a piece of advice, don't block my way. Those who block me shall die. The experts from the ancestral hall all let out murderous roars and raised their swords. As long as the order was given, they would directly rush over without the slightest fear. What a great ancestral hall! Do you think you're the masters of the universe? The old Star Lord looked up to the sky and roared with laughter. I really want to see if even one of the people you brought can walk out alive. Kill. The Big Dipper lineage was filled with murderous roars. The group of old antiques was furious. The ancestral hall was too arrogant. This was no longer because of Su Yen but because of their reputation. If they were to back down, it would be a great loss of face. Buzz. Suddenly, an ancestral hall expert's mirror lit up. The image of a desolate mountain appeared on the mirror. Not good. Song Yun immediately left Su Yen. Before leaving, he handed over a treasure to Su Yen and said, Good luck, this is a gift from the young miss. As soon as Song Yun disappeared, a vertical eye seemed to have opened in the sky. It saw through all illusions and saw Su Yen. They're here. Su Yen used spatial bending to cross the distance. He was now very close to the Big Dipper star. As long as he could reach the Devil Mist Forbidden Zone, he would be able to leave the Big Dipper star field. That's him. On Alcade Planet, murderous lights were as vast as the ocean. The ancestral hall's weapons were all activated and illuminated the starry sky. Even if your Big Dipper lineage uses up all its resources, I'll still take Su Yen away. The great figure from the ancestral hall inside the Ark had awakened with a tyrannical will. This caused the old Star Lord to be astonished. Just what was this Su Yen's background? He actually had the two Vice Lords of the ancestral hall come in person? Let's fight in the outer realms. The old Star Lord pondered for a moment before his body soared into the sky and disappeared into the starry sky. It was as if he had rushed into an uninhabited region. The moment the two experts disappeared, it was as if a great mountain had disappeared from this part of the starry sky. Their auras were too terrifying and not something an ordinary expert could withstand. Moreover, once a battle broke out here, the number of casualties would be unimaginable. A series of great battles erupted in the sky above Alcade City. However, there were already experts from the ancestral hall who had taken the lead and crossed into the desolate mountain forest. There were also huge arcs following behind. Alcade Planet was in complete chaos. The flames of war were burning as the lords of various factions fought each other. There were also many experts who crossed into the desolate mountain forest. Some had a premonition that Su Yen might still be entering the Devil Mist Forbidden Zone. Su Yen had already crossed to the Big Dipper star. He rejoiced that he had comprehended a part of the spatial profundities. Otherwise, it would have been very difficult for him to reach the Devil Mist Forbidden Zone in such a short time. Number 5, where can you run to? There was already a large group of experts rushing over. Huge arcs followed behind them, crushing the heaven and earth with rumbling sounds. The desolate mountain was trembling. Countless creatures were trembling in fear. They raised their heads and saw a sea of killing light engulfing everything. It was as if millions of mountains were pressing down on them. Mountain ranges sank one after another. Huge cracks extended out, and thousands of miles of rivers and mountains collapsed. There were also some large tribes that were crushed and exploded by the aura of the arcs. Blood rained down from the sky, and the desolate mountain forest seemed to have been dyed in blood. What are they trying to do? The Golden Dragon King and the others who were tailing behind had ugly expressions. Wasn't this too ruthless? They were treating the millions of creatures in the desolate mountain like ants and wantonly slaughtering them without any fear. They didn't even look at them. Damn it! A senior elder from the Big Dipper lineage rushed over and roared. He only hated the fact that the Big Dipper lineage wasn't strong enough to stop the extraterrestrial invaders. In just a few breaths' time, the entire desolate mountain seemed to be on the verge of sinking. Villages exploded one after another. There were also mutant beasts with powerful cultivation that were crushed. They were panicking. They didn't know what was happening at all before their souls were pierced. You devils! You will suffer retribution. There were cultivators who survived and cried out miserably. Their villages were destroyed, and many elders and children were annihilated. In short, the people from the ancestral hall acted without restraint. The moment they broke into the desolate mountain forest, there were countless corpses and a sea of blood. Even the sky was dyed red. They even continued to crush the interior. Their aura was fully released without holding back, and it swept through the entire desolate mountain forest. That great pressure made the creatures here tremble in fear. It was as if the heaven and earth were about to explode. Motherf asterisk curs, they all need to be taught a lesson. Suddenly, a terrifying bronze hand descended from the sky. It struck down, and the experts from the ancestral hall instantly fell into despair. When they looked down on the desolate mountain forest from high above, it was as if they were treating millions of creatures like ants. But at the same time, there were also people who treated them like ants. The bronze hand's flames were terrifying, and it was as if a huge earthquake had occurred in the desolate mountain forest. Boom. Chapter 367. The experts who had followed to watch the battle felt goosebumps all over their bodies. They all froze in the void, and some of them even felt their legs go soft. It was as if a terrifying giant beast was looking down on them, as if it was the master of their lives. The giant palm descended from the sky. It came from afar and filled the sky. It was grand and peerless, as if the heavens were about to collapse. The moment it pressed down, it carried an aura that could destroy heaven and earth. It made the mountains and forests tremble as if millions of thunderbolts had struck the earth. However, the person who attacked deliberately suppressed it and didn't hurt the innocent. If it wasn't for this slap, the mountains and forests would have collapsed. Boom! The 6 battleships were torn apart, and a large number of Ancestral Hall's troops were smashed into meat paste. Blood poured down like a torrential downpour, dyeing the shattered heaven and earth red. The smell of blood filled the sky. Who exactly is it? Some of the surviving Ancestral Hall cultivators were trembling. Their hearts were filled with fear and shock. This was too savage. A single slap was enough to bury them here. The entire mountains and forests were dead silent. Terrifying energy ripples undulated here, shaking all directions. Could this be the dojo of an ancient god? Someone said in fear. Could there be a big shot hibernating in the mountains and forests? The ripples produced by this slap intimidated all the experts who had barged in. They didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Some of the universe's overlords were even scared away. The bronze palm was like the hand of a god. It emitted a terrifying aura that filled the sky and suppressed the universe. Some people felt that it could overturn the entire mountains and forests and kill all the Ancestral Hall's troops with a single slap. At the end of the giant palm stood a blurry figure. It was like an immortal furnace burning. He didn't show his true body, but his awakened divine might couldn't be concealed. It was trembling. Who did this? The experts tailing them retreated. They didn't dare to follow closely. Some suspected that it was Su Yan's protector. They thought of the mysterious man in the southern region. Some suspected that there was a big shot hibernating in the mountains and forests. He was angered by the Ancestral Hall's massacre, so he made a move. They were more inclined to the latter. It was very likely that there was a big shot hibernating in the savage mountains. Only the heavens knew what kind of background it had. In short, it was an unforgettable scene for all the cultivators who saw it. Soon after, this terrifying palm disappeared, returning to primal chaos. To this day, no one knew who was the culprit who killed a large number of the Ancestral Hall's troops and smashed one battleship after another. Could it be them? Bamboo Moon's state of mind relaxed. She frowned slightly. She had read in the secret records of the Northern Dipper faction that there might be a hidden power in the desolate mountain forest. However, this record was too ancient. Bamboo Moon couldn't say for sure who exactly helped Su Yen. Maybe it was an expert from the burial region. I don't know how many years it will be before I can see you again. Bamboo Moon sighed softly in her heart. Her eyes were like stars as she glanced back at the desolate mountain forest. A hint of sadness appeared in her heart. The Ancestral Hall was too powerful, and the bloodline of the burial region had long been destroyed. Although Su Yan's potential was astonishing, in the top 10 ancient planets where the young paragons were always strong, it was almost impossible for him to stand out. Moreover, Su Yan was a rising star of the burial region. Just by thinking about it, Zhu Yu knew how difficult his future path would be. Either he remained silent, or he would struggle to the death in battle, or he would slaughter his way to the heavens. Who was it that helped me just now? Su Yan had already crossed to the Big Dipper. He directly passed through the Big Dipper pagoda and entered the core region. Even though Su Yan was standing on the Big Dipper, he could still feel the fluctuations radiating from the desolate mountain forest just now. The enemies who had been chasing him had all been destroyed, and their terrifying combat strength had been transmitted to the vast Big Dipper. Many experts who were comprehending the Tao had seen an incomparable palm destroy the entire battlefield with just the strength of the fleshly body. If I become a powerhouse, I will definitely make the Ancestral Hall pay the price. Su Yen turned back to look at the Big Dipper star region. He clenched his fists and swore in his heart that he would return. Although this was extremely difficult, close to a fool's dream, Su Yan's heart surged with great ambition. For a single person to deter a peak power of the universe, one needed to have unrivaled combat strength that could shake the ancients and dazzle the contemporaries, a peerless powerhouse that stood at the peak of the pyramid. Bamboo Moon, and the many grand elders of the Big Dipper bloodline, thank you. And also Zi Xioning, Song Yun. I, Su Yan, will always remember this friendship. I will never forget it. Su Yan's eyes shone with a light that was as sharp as lightning and filled with a powerful, fighting spirit. It's time to go. He also charged forward fiercely, his hair fluttering behind him as he charged into the demonic mist without looking back. Presently, Brilliant City had been turned upside down. The battle in outer space was so intense that it was suffocating. Although the place of battle was somewhat far from the Big Dipper star region, the world-incinerating light that filled a corner of the universe was able to penetrate through and shake one's spirit. The battle was too terrifying. It was as if a corner of the universe had exploded. All kinds of world-destroying divine energies collided one after another. It was like fireworks and firecrackers in the cosmos. The battle between the old Star Lord and the Ancestral Hall's Vice Hall Master shook the vast starfield and spread to other star regions. Some experts had rushed over to watch the battle and were alarmed. They hadn't expected the old Star Lord of the Big Dipper bloodline to be so powerful and had already stepped into the realm of the gods. Su Yan has disappeared. The Ancestral Hall's losses are too great. Could it be that a major powerhouse is hiding in the wilderness? It's very likely. Perhaps the Ancestral Hall's experts were too tyrannical and caused him to be dissatisfied. That's why he took action to wipe out the Ancestral Hall's forces. Who is Su Yan? How did he offend the Ancestral Hall? All the major powers were trembling. A series of major events were related to Su Yan. They were very suspicious of Su Yan's identity, especially the major powerhouse hiding in the wilderness. Now that he had been exposed, how could the Ancestral Hall let the matter rest? In the past, it was always the Ancestral Hall bullying the weak. Now, so many of their experts had been killed with a single slap and 6 of their battleships had exploded. The losses were too great. How could the ancestral hall swallow this resentment so easily? Su Yen had already charged into the Devil Misty Forbidden Zone. He directly took out the broken cauldron and rushed towards the Black Mountain. He didn't encounter any accidents along the way. He rushed to the Black Mountain and used the Big Dipper fist to open the Big Dipper Palace. Su Yen took out the immortal jade hanging around his neck and opened the door to the interior of the immortal mountain. I wonder where I'll end up if I walk from here. Su Yen walked in step by step. His mind was relaxed. Since he had come here, there was no danger. He wasn't in a hurry to leave. He sat down cross-legged and circulated the initial sutra. He started to absorb the Big Dipper ancestral veins' energy to nourish his injured body. With the help of the Big Dipper ancestral vein, Su Yan's recovery speed was extremely fast. In fact, a hint of joy flashed in Su Yan's eyes. This was because the dragon totem had also awakened and started to absorb the Big Dipper ancestral veins' energy. As the dragon totem breathed, a massive amount of the Big Dipper ancestral veins' origin divine power was drawn out. It was like a bottomless pit, a super glutton. Its absorption speed was 10,000 times faster than Su Yan's. As it breathed in and out, the dragon totem blazed a little more. The divine power inside it started to be replenished. Absorb. After witnessing the dragon totem's might, Su Yen was very attentive. With this item in hand, Great Tao Realm experts wouldn't be able to block the might of a single punch from him. However, the amount of divine power required for the dragon totem to erupt once was truly vast. But for such a super powerful killing weapon, even if it could only erupt once, it was enough to destroy Great Tao Realm experts. With the dragon totem protecting me, I also have the strength to roam the universe. I won't encounter too much danger. Su Yen became even more confident. After all, adventuring in the vast universe and searching for the whereabouts of his clansmen wasn't an easy task. Without the corresponding strength, how could it be possible? I wonder if the dragon totem can become stronger again? Reaching the level where it can kill the ancestral palace's deputy palace master? Su Yen mumbled in his heart. What if it could kill Zhu Liang with a single punch? Then it would really be extremely powerful. What exactly was the limit of the dragon totem? Right now, it was still an unknown. In fact, Su Yen couldn't even figure out what state the dragon totem was in. Could it be just a kind of treasure? However, Su Yen still felt that the dragon totem wasn't as simple as it seemed on the surface. What kind of treasure is this? At this moment, Su Yen took out the treasure that Zi Xiaoning had given him. It was a white silk scarf that was made of soft material and had a refreshing fragrance. There were also wisps of Zi Xiaoning's alluring body fragrance. This should be her personal item. Su Yen inspected the silk scarf for a while and was a little surprised. The silk scarf's material was very sturdy. This kind of silk was definitely not ordinary. He took out the silk scarf and it rapidly enlarged. The moment it landed on Su Yan's body, the mysterious silk scarf became one with him. At this moment, it was as if Su Yan had disappeared. He shook his body, as if he didn't exist in this world. He acknowledged that he was standing in an independent world. A spatial treasure. Su Yan was taken aback. This was an extremely rare spatial treasure that could isolate his aura. This way, even Great Tao Realm experts wouldn't be able to see his true appearance. This is indeed what I want the most. A hint of a smile appeared on Su Yan's face. As long as I can hide my identity, the Ancestral Hall probably won't be able to find me in a short period of time. He calmed down and waited for the dragon totem to stop absorbing energy. Only then did Su Yan open his eyes. Su Yan's eyes looked towards the dome as he slowly stood up. Looking at the dome, he saw an extremely majestic spatial scene. A corner of the territory that was lit up seemed to be formed by countless spacetimes. It was like a condensed superimposed space. I'm going to leave. Back then, Grandpa DeLong sent me away from here. Now that I'm back, I'm here to look for you guys. Su Yen couldn't help but feel agitated. He charged toward the dome and entered a mysterious spacetime. It was as if he had barged into a vast spacetime. Close your eyes and charge forward. I'm coming. Goodbye, Big Dipper Star Region. I'll be back. Chapter 368. I'm here. Su Yen charged into the dome as if he had barged into a vast sea of time and space. As soon as he arrived, Su Yen felt his hair stand on end because the sea of time and space he had barged into was vast and boundless. However, the sea of time and space was densely covered with cracks as if it had been slashed by a killing sword. Every time and space that was separated, it was filled with the fluctuations of the vast starry sky. It was like a real sea of stars that appeared in Su Yan's eyes. However, with his current primordial spirit cultivation, it was not enough to see the whole picture. Where in the universe are we going to jump to? But I don't have the coordinates. What if I run into a dangerous forbidden area? Won't I die? He had passed through the 99 steps and the final step was right in front of him. Su Yen did not want to make any mistakes. Let me out quickly. Iron Rooster transmitted his voice. Su Yen shifted him out. He was breaking out of his shell, silver radiance overflowing into the sky. Iron Rooster was stronger than before and the silver feathers on his body had also grown out a lot. He was like a big rooster with a glowing comb. However, the scene here gave Iron Rooster a fright. He said, "What is this place? Why is there such a terrifying fluctuation of time and space?" Su Yen quickly told Iron Rooster what had happened. He quickly said, "What are you thinking about? It must be the strongest ancient star. Let's cross to the vicinity and maybe we can sneak in." Su Yen naturally wanted to go too. He even wanted to go to the Ziwei segmentum. Look here, purple chi overflows the sky and auspicious signs are everywhere. Maybe this is the Ziwei segmentum. Iron Rooster did not understand. After all, this was the mysterious Heavenly Mountain, one of the 9 great celestial mountains. Only by grasping the spatial coordinates of the Heavenly Mountain could one cross to any place they wanted to go. It was equivalent to an extremely terrifying spacetime array. Let's go quickly. Su Yen wanted to continue choosing, but he realized that the longer he stayed here, the faintly felt like his lifespan was being stripped away and he would die of old age immediately. This made him not dare to stay here any longer. He jumped into the edge of a purple spacetime tunnel with Iron Rooster, hoping to reach their destination. The universe was vast and boundless. Between the segmentum, only the strong were qualified to cross. Even with a space-crossing array, it was difficult to reach their destination in a short time. A force that was qualified to cross domains? It was too little. There were countless geniuses in these star areas. However, they were like a flood in the universe. All of them wanted to go to the strongest ancient star to cultivate. After all, the strongest life ancient star had the most abundant spiritual energy. The cultivators in the strongest life ancient star would have a greater chance of becoming famous. Right now, the younger generation in the universe had all started to climb toward the great Tao realm in their cultivation. However, there were very few young overlords who could cross over to this realm. It was like the great waves washing away the sand. There would always be a limit to the number of experts who could soar into the clouds. However, in recent years, news of young overlords appearing and disappearing in the various major star fields of the universe had spread throughout the universe. The older generation had a premonition that the struggle for supremacy among the younger generation was about to begin. When the time came, the supremes of the various star fields would gather, and a true battle between dragons and tigers would unfold. Various ancient aristocratic families appeared frequently. Giants who had been hibernating in famous mountains and great rivers also awakened. Various regions of the universe and places of fortune opened one after another. Ingjie of the younger generation. He was like a flood passing through, rushing toward various training grounds to temper himself. If one wanted to stand out among the thousands of geniuses, relying on resources alone was far from enough. In the various great universes, geniuses would often appear and young overlords would go on expeditions. If one were to talk about the famous training grounds in the universe, there would be many mysterious and ancient stone pagodas. Geniuses from various races would come here to train first. For example, there was no one in charge of this starry sky. No one had set up a sect here. The main reason was that the spiritual energy in this starry sky was relatively weak. However, this place was very popular, and great beings from various races would frequently come here. They would wait here every day to see if they could find any good seedlings. I didn't expect the stone pagoda to manifest its imprint last time to attract so many young fellows to try their luck. This starry sky was close to the Zway segmentum. It was a completely red planet with large plains everywhere. It was filled with an ancient and desolate aura. However, on this planet, elders from various races and universe masters would frequently appear. Their eyes were all looking at the gray stone pagoda standing tall on the plains. The stone pagoda's aura was very ancient. It had existed for a very long time. It was said that this stone pagoda had existed since the ancient times. This stone pagoda wasn't very tall, but it exuded a magnificent wave. It sat on the plains, and most of the people nearby were young cultivators from various great powers in the universe. They were all preparing to challenge the stone pagoda. Anyone could enter this stone pagoda, and great beings from the older generation were no exception. However, as time passed, those who could obtain opportunities inside were all from the younger generation. The older generation didn't attempt to challenge the stone pagoda anymore because there was a certain mortality rate. After all, it's very difficult to obtain the imprint of the entire stone pagoda. Various great powers have given up. This time, although there are geniuses from nearby star fields, it's very difficult for them to last a day in the stone pagoda. That's right. There are too few great beings who can obtain the imprint of the entire stone pagoda. Rumor has it that Emperor Nan crossed domains to come here, but unfortunately, he was sealed inside and out. No one knows how many days he stayed in the stone pagoda. There were great beings from various great powers guarding the surrounding dozens of star fields. They were hoping that a genius who could survive 3 days would appear and be accepted into their sect. However, even if they did appear, it would be very difficult for them to get their turn. Over the years, there had been many geniuses who relied on the stone pagoda to make a name for themselves in the universe. Suddenly, a heavy aura filled the starry skies. The entire crimson plains began to tremble. The great beings from various races who were sitting cross-legged here opened their eyes. Their eyes were filled with shock. They looked up into the starry skies and discovered that a heavy aura of space and time, so heavy that it could shake the world, was surging towards them. At first, this aura wasn't particularly strong, but as the aura of space and time thickened, it was as if a corner of the world had been opened. A vast river of space and time flowed out, emitting a magnificent aura of the world. What kind of existence has descended into the world? How can its aura be so terrifying? Some of the great lords were stunned. In front of such a magnificent power of space and time, they appeared small and insignificant. It was as if the aura had filled up a vast star field's power of space and time. It was peerlessly grand and difficult to fathom. Kacha! A piercing sound rang out as layers of the starry skies collapsed. It was as if energy gushed out from the ends of the universe, shattering a corner of the starry skies and opening a vast domain gate. Someone's here. The people around turned pale as they saw the cracked starry skies. It was as if, at the edge of the universe, a river of space and time had appeared on its own. It was a blurry shadow that was walking towards them. Every step was like stepping on the river of space and time. Every step was like crossing a star field. Just like that, step by step, he crossed over towards this part of the starry skies. What a terrifying existence, crossing a star field with every step. He seems to be standing at the edge of the universe and is crossing over here. Is he an almighty? An old woman with a dignified aura was shocked. This was a great figure of the Ziwei segmentum. At this moment, her attitude was extremely respectful. Standing in the void, it was as if she was welcoming a great figure who had stepped out from the river of space and time. This scene also made the great beings from the nearby great forces look solemn. They hurriedly walked over and stood beside Meng Ying. They bowed and bent their knees to welcome this mysterious and great existence. Let's go over quickly. This must be a terrifying giant. The young geniuses gathered near the stone tower rushed over one after another. Their attitudes were sincere as they followed a group of older generation experts. One had to know that Meng Ying was here. She was the great elder of the Ziwei segmentum. Even with her status, she had to wait quietly for the arrival of an expert. It was obvious how powerful this person was. There were also young disciples who awakened the potential in their bodies, hoping to gain the favor of this expert and be accepted as a disciple. It's very likely to be an almighty. Someone speculated. All the hair on their body stood on end. An almighty was too terrifying. Even the peak forces did not want to provoke a terrifying giant. But now, an almighty had come? This made the younger generation shocked and excited. What if they could become the disciple of an almighty? Their names would probably resound throughout the universe in a short time. What a terrifying method! Could it really be an almighty? Meng Ying stood at the front, her heart full of shock. She had already sensed the waves of space-time energy that came from the depths of the universe. She could not sense the existence of the array. It was as if a terrifying existence had used some method to open the door to the star field and step on the river of space and time to arrive. This method was really terrifying and heaven-defying. This was a mysterious expert that they respected and even had to pay respects to. At this moment they were having a headache. Every step they took across the river of space and time was like being deprived of endless lifespan, rapidly dying of old age. This was because the distance they had crossed was quite far. If not for the protection of the space-time power, they would not have survived. This was because the distance they had crossed was too far. There was a terrifying space-time power. This miraculous journey gave Su Yan a deep impression of his comprehension of space. He even discovered a great power of time. It was very shocking. It seemed to be able to reverse life and death. I think we're almost there. Su Yan did not dare to comprehend too deeply. He was afraid that he would really sink into the silence of time and quickly die of old age. They're coming. Su Yan was getting closer and closer to them. Only God knew how far he had crossed. From far to near, he brought with him an abnormally terrifying aura of time. He filled the entire Crimson Plains, making everyone feel reverence. I sense a power of time. It's like a great existence is awakening. Meng Ying seemed especially excited. Her old face was like a blooming chrysanthemum. After all, she did not even dare to think about having a relationship with such a terrifying giant. In the Crimson Plains, the older generation tidied up their clothes, hoping to leave a good impression on this senior. Buzz! The shadow finally rushed out. The vast space-time aura had transported him here. Hence, when he arrived, space-time light rained down from the sky, causing this great plain to seem as if it had frozen. Even time seemed to have stopped. Greetings, Senior. Meng Ying and the others bowed in unison. Their attitudes were respectful, and their expressions were solemn. They looked like they were listening to his teachings. No need for formalities. Miserly Rooster had his wings on his back and his head held high. He had the demeanor of a peerless expert. He said arrogantly, "Are these coordinates in the Ziwei segmentum? If not, we can only cross space-time again." Chapter 369. Su Yen muttered in his heart, "How did I meet this old thing?" Thinking back to his encounter in Alcade City, Su Yen was furious. After all, some of Meng Ying's words were still unforgettable to Su Yen. Miser's arrogant appearance made Su Yan's heart stir. Anyway, he had already left the Big Dipper starfield, and he had Zi Xioning's treasures to protect him. Meng Ying and the others couldn't see through his true identity. Su Yen felt that it was better to create a fake identity to scare off the experts of the various forces and understand the current situation of the universe. Perhaps he could find out the whereabouts of the people of the burial region. After all, Meng Ying wasn't an ordinary person. He was the great elder of the Ziwei starfield. Whether it was identity or status, he was very impressive. Some of the older generation experts were surprised because as the space-time fluctuations dissipated, Su Yan's appearance was no longer terrifying. They found that this was a young man with a tall and straight figure and full of vitality. This was clearly a young man, not a big shot. These old experts obviously noticed, and their expressions were somewhat awkward and even ugly. They were all famous experts in this part of the universe, and now they were bowing to a young man? This was really unacceptable. "Looks like we've come to the right place." Miser put on an act, with his wings behind his back and his head held high. He looked very confident and arrogant as he said, "I haven't been in the world for many years, and the world has changed. The starfield's appearance has also changed, and it has deviated a little." Meng Ying's expression changed. She knew some rumors. It was said that as time passed, the starfield's appearance gradually deviated from its original trajectory, but very few people knew about this. Now that Miser had said this, she felt that their origin must be very great, and there must be a terrifying existence behind them. "Isn't that a chicken?" A young man looked as if he had seen a ghost. He saw a big rooster standing on Su Yan's shoulder with few feathers. Some of the old experts' expressions changed as they glared at their clansmen. They still hadn't figured out their origins, so they couldn't rashly offend them. Impudent! The miserly rooster was enraged. Silver flames surged all over his body, and he involuntarily exuded a majestic aura, as if he had been in a high position for a long time. He scolded, "I am the godly phoenix, what nonsense are you spouting? Do you want to die?" Some of the young people present were stunned. The divine phoenix? It was indeed a rooster. Meng Ying and the rest shuddered in fear. They carefully examined this good-looking rooster, but they couldn't see the shadow of the divine phoenix. They muttered in their hearts, "Where did this person come from?" The divine phoenix was a supreme living being. "Everyone, please don't treat him like an outsider. He has been injured for a long time and needs time to recover." Su Yen said loudly, "I'm new here. Sorry to have disturbed everyone. My name is Xia Kunlun. Greetings, fellow Taoists." The surroundings were in an uproar. Everyone was wondering if there were any experts surnamed Xia in the cosmos. They felt that this young man wasn't simple. The essence blood in his body was exuberant and they couldn't see through his depths. However, if this rooster was really a godly phoenix, then it would be terrifying. This meant that this young man's identity was not simple. "Xia Kunlun, Master said that after you came out, you should listen to me," the miserly rooster said. "Let's go to the Ziwei segmentum for a walk now. I wonder if the seeds I planted with my master back then have grown into sacred medicines." The group was stunned. Planting some seeds and waiting for them to mature? How many years would that take? Who had such means? However, the scene of them crossing over just now was really shocking. They couldn't help but believe it. Seeing that Su Yen was about to leave, Meng Ying hurriedly walked up and smiled apologetically. "Fellow Taoists, please wait. I am the great elder of the Ziwei segmentum and am very familiar with it. Is there anything I can help you with?" "You." The miserly rooster glanced at Meng Ying. This gaze made her feel a little uncomfortable. After all, she was an important figure of the Ziwei sect. This rooster seemed to be looking down on her? You can't, the miserly rooster said arrogantly. Back then, Master and I went to the Immortal Mountain Range and planted some seed. The Immortal Mountain Range is not a place you can go. I guess that after a long time of accumulation, it should have evolved into a top-grade sacred medicine. Junior brother, these sacred medicines are not bad. They are worth spending some time to find. Some people's faces darkened. A few sacred medicines were worth spending time on? There were a few old experts here who almost burst into tears. If they could find the location of the sacred medicine, they would be willing to spend 100 years to find it. How is this possible? Someone said in surprise. The Immortal Mountain Range is a forbidden area. The stronger one is, the easier it is to be suppressed. That is a forbidden area for life. No one can enter. When did it become a forbidden area? Duke Tai was stunned. He said suspiciously, at the end of the ancient universe era, the Immortal Mountain Range was still a holy land for cultivation. It was a place where the ancient gods went into seclusion. It was not a forbidden area. What era is it now? There was an uproar all around. They really didn't know about these rumors. However, from the words of this rooster, he had lived for a universe era? They found it hard to believe. Meng Ying, on the other hand, paid more attention to this matter. She knew some secret information. She also knew that at the end of the ancient universe era, there was chaos in the Immortal Mountain Range. Many people died, and a large number of ancient gods died. It was because too many gods had died. Over time, the Immortal Mountain Range became a forbidden area for life. This was because there were great Tao killing marks left behind by the gods before they died. They gradually formed an extremely terrifying domain that could trap and kill experts. That was something that happened during the ancient era. This rooster couldn't have lived for a universe era, right? What was the origin of this master that they were talking about? Could it be that he was really a mysterious almighty? Hee, my two Tao friends, the Immortal Mountain Range is not so easy to wander around now. Meng Ying smiled and said, Our Ziwei sect has many outstanding disciples. If you need help, you can ask. I will choose some outstanding female disciples for you to order around. Hearing this, Miser Rooster said calmly, I say, junior brother, Master said that the Ziwei segmentum is full of outstanding talents and beautiful women. This time, when you go out to train, do you have a Taoist companion that needs a mission? If you bring back a few pearls, Master might be satisfied. Su Yen couldn't help but beat the cheapskate up. Meng Ying was even more surprised. I wonder which famous master's disciple is this little friend Xia? There are many pearls in our Ziwei segmentum. Even our sect's Ziwei Saintus is here. Master's cultivation is very profound. I don't know what level he is at now. Su Yen replied, Master travels to the various major star regions all year round and is always elusive. This time, I came to the Ziwei segmentum because Master sent me here and let me go on a long journey to gain experience. Could he really be an almighty? The people around were shocked. They were very curious about Su Yan's identity. After all, the method just now was too shocking. Which ordinary person could use it? Little friend Xia's master must be a hermit master. Meng Ying smiled and said, I know a young man who also received the inheritance of an almighty. This person is extraordinary. When the time comes, I will introduce you to him. You can get to know each other and become friends. Su Yan's expression didn't change, but he knew very well that Meng Ying must be talking about Shueguan. Who is it? Tell me your name. The cheapskate said with interest, Maybe I know him. Shueguan. Meng Ying replied. There was a commotion. During this time, Shueguan had made a name for himself in the universe. It was rumored that a supreme being wanted to take him in as a warrior, but Shueguan seemed to have tactfully declined. It was clear that he was ambitious. After all, he had received the inheritance of an almighty, and his future would be extraordinary. Shueguan? The cheapskate said in surprise. Which almighty is this? I have never heard of such a name. Meng Ying said awkwardly. The disciple of this Almighty I am talking about is Shuiguan. As for who this Almighty is, I have no idea. Generation skipping inheritance. The cheapskate snorted. I thought it was a living Almighty. Is this Shuiguan very strong? Of course. Shuiguan is the most outstanding among the young overlords that rose recently. He even obtained the stone pagoda's imprint in the stone pagoda. Someone couldn't help but remind, those who can obtain such an imprint are the top overlords of the younger generation. They have the combat strength to be revered in the same generation. Everyone nodded. They were very convinced of the young expert who could obtain the stone pagoda's imprint. Su Yen looked ahead. At the end of the plains there was a stone pagoda. It didn't look tall, but it was filled with majestic aura. The gray pagoda was filled with the traces of time. It was unknown how long it had existed. What is this? Su Yen thought to himself. Could this stone pagoda be a type of trial? It was similar to the Big Dipper pagoda? A young expert who can obtain the stone pagoda's imprint is not bad. The cheapskate said calmly, Junior brother, go and explore. If you can obtain an imprint, it will be of great use in the future. The surrounding people were stunned. The cheapskate's tone was too casual. How could anyone obtain an imprint just because they wanted it? This wasn't an ordinary trial. Even some young overlords couldn't obtain the stone pagoda's imprint. It was too difficult to obtain one, but the cheapskate's casual tone made them want to laugh. Although they didn't know if Xia Kunlun was a disciple of an almighty, even if he was, he might not be able to obtain the stone pagoda's imprint. If a disciple of an almighty goes through the stone pagoda, he will naturally be able to obtain an imprint. Meng Ying smiled and said, Little friend Xia, this old one will congratulate you in advance. However, you will have to wait for a while. The stone pagoda can only accommodate a limited number of people. You will have to wait for half a day before you can attempt the stone pagoda. Junior brother, when the time comes, use your full strength. Don't be careless. The cheapskate reminded. This stone pagoda's imprint is related to a type of inheritance. In the distant Chaos Ruins, the stone pagoda's imprint is a past. The cultivators present were enlightened. They only knew about the stone pagoda's imprint, but they didn't know what it was related to. It was no wonder that the young overlords of the various major starfields wanted to obtain a pass. Buzz. At this moment, a holy aura spread out from the entrance of the stone pagoda. A graceful woman floated out. Her clothes fluttered in the wind. Her hair was black, and her snow-white skin emitted divine light. She was like a pearl that made all the other women present pale in comparison. Su Yan's heart turned cold. He didn't expect to meet Saint Lady Ziwei. However, Saint Lady Ziwei was now in the Quasi-Dao realm. She is indeed the Saint Lady of the Ziwei sect. It is said that she has cultivated the Ziwei heavenly disk and displayed it in the distant Big Dipper. It is said that Crepe Myrtle sect has produced a holy body of Tying. She is likely to be conferred the title of Saintess in the future. Crepe Myrtle sect is really lucky. They have produced two amazing disciples. It is said that many Star Zone sovereigns have come to visit. I wonder who will take this pearl. That is the sacred body of Lunar. She has the potential to become a supreme being. Her future is limitless. I am afraid that only a supreme being like Emperor Nan is qualified to take it. Saint Lady Ziwei sighed softly. She didn't get the stone pagoda's imprint, which showed how terrifying Shuiguan was. He could even take the stone pagoda's imprint on his first adventure. This is the Saint Lady of the Ziwei sect? Cheapskate looked at her for a while and said, Junior brother, what do you think? She might be able to catch your eye. Saint Lady Ziwei's face darkened. She was faintly unhappy. She definitely felt uncomfortable with such a scrutinizing gaze. Meng Ying hurriedly transmitted his voice to tell her Su Yan's identity. This is little friend Xia Kunlun. Meng Ying smiled and introduced them. Little friend Xia, This is the Saint Lady of the Ziwei sect. So it is Taoist Brother Xia. Saint Lady Ziwei suddenly smiled. Her temperament was holy and otherworldly. She was like a fairy who had fallen into the mortal world. Her jade-like body emitted clouds. She smiled softly and said, "Little sister Meng Silin greets Taoist brother." "Haha, junior sister, there is no need to be so polite," Su Yen said with a friendly expression. The Ziwei sect is indeed the #1 sect in the Ziwei segmentum. It is rare to see such a beautiful woman. Chapter 370. I've just arrived and am preparing to travel around. Su Yen looked at Saintess Ziwei and said, "As for this stone pagoda, I also want to see it." "Junior sister, did you fail just now? Is this stone pagoda that difficult?" For Taoist Brother Xia, it really isn't that difficult. Saintess Ziwei was a peerless beauty with a gentle smile on her face. She smiled gently and said, "When the time comes, I will definitely see Brother Xia's glory. It's said that there's an inheritance in this stone pagoda. I don't have the ability to get it, so it depends on Brother Xia." Meng Ying smiled with satisfaction. After all, Meng Silin was the saintess of the crepe myrtle sect. Her words and actions were enough to represent the sect. If Xia Kunlun was really the disciple of a powerful being, then the crepe myrtle sect would treat him with the highest respect. "I heard them say that the holy body of Lunar has appeared?" Cheapskate Rooster had his wings behind his back. With the demeanor of a master, he loudly said, "The great moon Saint Physique is qualified to evolve into the sovereign physique. This should be the strongest physique in your crepe myrtle sect. Does the great moon ancient scripture already have a successor?" Hearing this, Meng Ying said, "You are indeed knowledgeable. The holy body of Lunar has been accepted as the last disciple of our sect's ancestor. She has been in seclusion for a few years and will probably come out soon." In recent years, how many sovereign bodies have there been in the younger generation of the universe? Tai Rooster asked. The major sects won't easily leak the news of sovereign bodies. Meng Ying smiled and said, "After all, sovereign bodies can only unleash their strongest power after comprehending the great Tao. Now, the major sects won't easily let their disciples go far away. Isn't there a descendant of Shuiguan with a sovereign body? There's even news that he has 2 sovereign bodies?" An old cultivator next to him asked curiously, "I heard that Shuiguan was almost killed in the Battle of Big Dipper. Is this true or false? I heard that Saintess Ziwei saved his life back then?" Meng Ying's eyelids twitched. He didn't expect that more than half a year had passed and there was still news floating in the universe. This was also because with the rise of Shuiguan, his past had surfaced. The dragon and phoenix Dharma idol had truly shocked all the major powers. Now, everyone wanted to know what kind of physique Shuiguan had, and even how strong he would be when he comprehended the great Tao in the future. This little bastard, who knew that he could crawl back up and even have the battle prowess of a young overlord. Meng Ying's face was gloomy and uncertain. She was really worried that after Ec Yun came out, she would find out about this matter and have some disagreements with Shuiguan. "That's not it." Saintess Ziwei chuckled and said, "Shuiguan's battle prowess is extremely strong. Back then, it took 2 people working together to force him to retreat. One of them even has a supreme body. One of the leaders has already died. Even if he survives, he will not be strong enough. After all, Shuiguan is infinitely close to the great Tao. Soon, he will be the young supreme of the Big Dipper starfield." The experts of the older generation were speechless. Joining hands with a supreme being body? Even they couldn't stop Shuiguan. This was tantamount to showing just how strong Shuiguan was now. If that's the case, the recently risen genius should belong to Shuiguan? Miser Rooster asked again. That's right. After all, he has the dragon and phoenix Dharma idol, and even received the inheritance of a supreme being. He also mastered the secret techniques of the heavens, and even came into contact with the great Tao. Meng Ying nodded and looked at Su Yen. Little friend Xia, when things here are over, I think I should ask Saintis to accompany you to the Ziwei sacred region. Maybe you can see Shuiguan there. That's great. With junior sister accompanying me, I won't be lonely on the road. Su Yan smiled and said, I also want to see how strong Shuiguan is. This is the first time I've heard of the dragon and phoenix Dharma idol. I won't let you down. Saintis Ziwei's clothes fluttered in the wind. She smiled and said, It's said that the Cosmos Business Alliance is also organizing an extremely high-standard auction. I believe you will definitely gain something from your trip to the Ziwei segmentum. Miser Rooster was surprised. There was such a Dharma idol in the world? Su Yan pinched his fingers. He had a huge sum of money that he didn't have time to look at. After all, Han Jin was the supreme elder of the Big Dipper clan. His interspatial ring was now with Su Yan. Who knew how many good things were in it? Perhaps Su Yan still didn't know that the Big Dipper clan was in an uproar. When Han Jin saw that Bamboo Moon was rising, he wanted to defect and escape. He was really afraid that Bamboo Moon would deal with him. Before he left, he took a lot of the clan's resources, and now they were all with Su Yan. The old Star Lord was very open-minded. Although he had already given the order to expel Su Yan, he still treated him as a disciple of his own clan. The old Star Lord didn't think much of those resources being taken away by Su Yan. Resources that could make even the supreme elder of the Big Dipper clan feel pained. One could imagine what kind of huge wealth it was. Oh my God! Su Yan's face twitched slightly. He found Han Jin's interspatial ring from the Phoenix Hairpin's space. When he saw the scene inside, he almost couldn't control himself and roared out. The entire interspatial ring was filled to the brim. This was a terrifyingly huge sum of money. Was this the wealth that only great Dao realm experts had? Su Yan had an urge to vomit blood. The 5 great Dao realm experts of the Ancestral Hall were all turned into ashes by the dragon totem. Their interspatial treasures were naturally destroyed as well. Otherwise, Su Yan would have struck it rich. What exactly is the Divine Spiritual Mountain Range? Su Yan transmitted his voice. He discovered that Miser Rooster was openly asking about the Divine Spiritual Mountain Range. He seemed to be very curious about this place. I reckon that Shuiguan's place of inheritance is here. Miser Rooster's reply caused Su Yan to clench his fist involuntarily. The initial fist was in the Divine Spiritual Mountain Range? It's hard to say now. In the previous universe era, the Divine Spiritual Mountain Range was also an extremely powerful holy land for comprehending the Tao. Miser Rooster replied via voice transmission, Since Shuiguan has come to the Ziwei segmentum now, this means that he will continue to receive inheritances. When we have time, let's take a look around the Divine Spiritual Mountain Range. We might be able to discover something fishy. Su Yan's eyes flashed. He didn't know where Baokai was now. He was prepared to settle down first and understand this universe. When the time was right, he would then investigate the whereabouts of the burial region's lineage. If he were to investigate now, it would probably attract the attention of some people. It seems that the people from the stone pagoda have all come out. Saintess Ziwei's beautiful eyes looked toward Su Yan. She smiled lightly. Brother Xia, it's time for you to show off your skills. Su Yan wasn't prepared to hide his strength. Only by using his full strength could Meng Ying and the others trust his identity more. When Su Yan approached the stone pagoda, he felt a trace of heavy pressure. This stone pagoda didn't look very tall, but it was filled with the aura of a wild beast. Su Yan walked at the front. Along the way, many young people followed behind him. Their breathing was heavy and their legs were weak. It was as if they were being suppressed by the stone pagoda's power. Meng Ying was observing Su Yan. She nodded slightly. Just this aura alone was extraordinary. Can she obtain the imprint? Saintess Ziwei was just saying some polite words. She really doubted Su Yan's ability and wondered if he was worth roping in. Let's wait and see. Menging had just finished speaking when she raised her head and looked into the distance. She saw that in the depths of the starry sky, there was a black mass. It was as if black waves were spreading one after another. "What is that?" many people exclaimed. They saw the rolling black waves sweeping over, causing the entire crimson plains to tremble. "What a terrifying aura!" The cultivators present paled. This was definitely a scene of a great sect traveling. The black sea of clouds that filled the starry sky spat out a jet-black battleship. It laid horizontally on the crimson plains, causing the void to shatter into pieces. From the battleship, shadows with gloomy auras walked out one after another. They stood in the darkness, as if they were in purgatory. It was suffocating. "It's the experts of the underworld faction. Could it be that the Ingjie of the underworld faction's younger generation is here to train?" The people here discussed animatedly. Su Yan's heart sank, and a trace of killing intent flashed in his eyes. In the past, he had seen with his own eyes an ancestor of the underworld faction wantonly slaughtering and even swallowing the experts of the burial region. Although he was killed by the old leader, Su Yan could not forget this grudge. The ancestral hall and the underworld faction were the greatest enemies of the burial region. They had never given up on hunting down the burial region. The underworld faction was a very special faction. It was said that this faction hibernated underground and devoured the Een energy to cultivate. Their way of doing things was extremely bloody and cruel. Many factions did not dare to provoke them. Boom! A thunderous sound rang out. It was a young man whose entire body was pale gold. When he walked, the void rumbled with every step he took. His body was filled with terrifying energy, and every move he made was filled with an extremely strong deterrent force. Cultivators of the same generation were shocked. This was definitely the young king of the underworld faction. His battle strength was shocking, and his race was born with a strong physique. They had always aimed to be indestructible. "It's him, he's Een Luan." Someone was surprised. "When I met him last year, he hadn't cultivated an indestructible body. Now, he's showing signs of a golden body." "Who is Een Luan?" Someone was shocked. "Cultivating an indestructible body? It's as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Only a handful of the underworld faction's younger generation can do it." "Do you know Een Xian?" Een Luan is Een Xian's younger brother, and he's also the son of the underworld faction's ancestor. The surrounding people gasped. Een Xian is the overlord of the underworld faction's younger generation. He's extremely powerful. Rumor has it that he cultivated an indestructible body, and his physical strength is unrivaled in the universe. He's definitely a young paragon. That's right, Een Xian's battle strength is extremely strong. Rumor has it that after the ancestor of the underworld faction died, Een Xian used his father's flesh and blood to cultivate an indestructible body. Some people's hair stood on end. Devouring his father's flesh and blood? That was too cruel. However, everyone knew that the underworld faction really liked to devour ancient corpses to strengthen their bodies. The heavenly technique they cultivated was a bit different, and their goal was to cultivate an indestructible body. Rumor has it that the bodies of the underworld faction's experts were comparable to ultimate treasures and were extremely hard to deal with. Saintess Ziwei. Een Luan's body was tall, and his pale gold skin was filled with powerful energy waves. He walked up and laughed. "I didn't expect to meet the Saintess here. Senior Meng Ying is also here. Junior Een Luan greets Elder." Saintess Ziwei nodded slightly and said, "You're here to challenge the stone tower, right? This stone tower focuses on the physical body. Perhaps you'll gain something." Meng Ying was a bit surprised. It seems that the indestructible body is already showing signs. If you cultivate it further, you'll definitely be able to cultivate a golden body. This stone tower is very suitable for tempering you. Hearing this, Een Luan smiled proudly. "I have to thank my elder brother for this. He has already cultivated an indestructible body. He used the remaining jar of evil clan's treasure blood to refine for me. I had a great opportunity, and now I've cultivated an indestructible body. I have to say that the evil clan's bloodline is very strong. Menging only nodded and did not say much. After all, the faction of the underworld faction was not extinct, and Yinluan was not strong enough for him to take seriously. Yinluan, go ahead. The faction will give you the appropriate resources according to your progress. An expert of the Dark Underworld clan came over and said coldly, remember, feel the power of the bloodline in your body. There is a trace of the bloodline of an expert in the bloodline of the burial region. If you can feel it, you will benefit greatly. Yes, Elder. I'll definitely refine the evil clan's treasure blood and use it for myself. Yinluan was high-spirited. He had cultivated an indestructible body and was heavily nurtured by his family. All of you, get out of the way. Yinluan's aura was domineering as he strode toward the stone tower. His powerful aura caused the cultivators heading toward the stone tower to tremble in fear. They were forced to make a path for him. I'm talking. Can't you hear me? Yinluan's eyes turned cold as he looked at the man in white who was still walking toward the stone tower. The anger in his body was about to burst out, and a trace of killing intent shot out from his eyes. Who are you?